and I have a PDF of it, and I've integrated a lot of the rules into my campaign.
Oh, there you go, Jason.
Yeah.
Harbor Town is an all-new series from
Hopefully
Miniature
we'll
Building
be
Authority,
right.
the leader in tabletop gaming scene. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to a new destination.
Oh, did I pause out on you guys?
Yeah, that was the first time.
You did.
Oh.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Good evening. Hey, Dorgrim. It's gonna be a good one. Cool discussions tonight. Plus, I'm flaunting something, which I'll show. It's on my chair next to me. Hope everyone's enjoying the holiday weekend so far. Dun, dun, dun. How are you, Jason, now? Are you good?
I think so.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Okay.
good. You sound good. Yeah. Awesome, man. Nah, it's going to be a good one tonight. We got a lot of data. A lot of data to share tonight. Oh, that's cool, Bill. Thanks for lurking there. I really need a new Reaper ad.
Okay.
I do.
Do they have a new one?
I made this. Mark made that one up, so I really got to get a new
okay.
Reaper ad. So I got to work on that. Yeah, that's a definite. What button am I going to hit now? I'm going to hit the wrong button. I guarantee it. No, I hit the right button.
Yay!
Look at that. Show some more NBA tonight. Awesome, Bill. Awesome. I remembered even to change the title and everything tonight.
Oh.
Woohoo! Oh, you're Canadian. No Memorial Day. I'm sorry. Sorry, David. The Shantytown Kickstarter for Miniature Building Authority is going on right now as we speak. So there's some nice, affordable options. Yeah, Bill eats strange stuff, Rox. The amount of stuff I'm getting from him painted is unbelievable. Just to put that in perspective, how much he's been painting up. We've exchanged Reaper boxes of unpainted and painted stuff twice this week already. So it's awesome. Bum, 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 bum. I need more shelves. I really, I want IKEA to open back up, man. That's what I need. I need about 3 of them. I got the half wall running all the way around the back wall there, David. I just haven't gotten, I got the halfling hobbit homes all over the chairs. I gotta get them off the chairs. Running out of space, so. Yep. Absolutely. It's a holiday weekend, so I'm not sure how many people we're going to get on tonight. But we'll just go with the flow on this, guys.
It's hard to tell with the way the numbers have been going up.
Yeah, they're all over the place. You know what I mean? But it's cool. Plus, Twitch is doing whatever. I don't know, whatever Twitch is doing.
But that's the thing, you can't trust what they're saying.
I know. It was really bizarre. On Thursday night, we got raided with thank you to Dungeon Masters. I'll get you in there. It just popped up on my Streamlabs. It's like they raided and showed we had 20 people on and 200 some raided. It's just crazy. So, yep. Thank you so very much. All right, let's. Gosh, I missed my cue there. What time is it here? What's it do, Tim? We'll do half of Tim. Tim's next set. So tonight, mid-level adventuring, and it turns out we got, between Jason and myself and Anna, we got way more modules I think we can discuss in 2 hours. But it's gonna be fun. So just bear with us, and we'll bounce around, talk about some of the classics, some third party, some by people we all know, and give you some ideas for your campaign. Thanks, Greg. Stack. I don't want the stack falling over off my table. That would be like disastrous. When stuff goes all over the place. Yeah, don't want that happening. Come on. Good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm J.K. Lord Gazumba for another Gabbin on a weekend, a holiday weekend. And I'll tell you something about that in a second. So, Anna, we got Anna Meyer, the great Anna Meyer, making extraordinaire, and Jason Zavoda of the Zavoda Index and many other contributions to the world of Greyhawk. Hey, Jason, how are you tonight?
Hey, Jay. Hey, Anna.
Hey.
It's a holiday weekend, and even more than that. So we all got to say thank you to one person in this world. That's my wife, because technically, my anniversary is technically tomorrow, but we had people over earlier today, and so she's kind of cool with me doing this. So I got to say thank you to her, to she. So thanks to Dungeon Masters. I really appreciate it. Let me get caught up with some stuff. So. Man, talking about a lot of new followers since last time we and now watch. My Streamlabs is not going to work tonight. It's going to drive me crazy, right? All this other stuff is going to happen. So there we go. All right, at least it's starting to work now. So hey, Will, what's up? Always have to say thanks to the wife, Will. Mid-level adventuring. A couple weeks ago we did a one on entry-level adventuring. I think it went really well, and I got the idea for this one. So thank you, Cuthbert. Anna, Jason, what do you think about talking about some of these great modules we're going to be discussing?
Well, this is the mid-level's my favorite area, really. So I'm not a high-level guy. I tend to do a lot of low, but once they get mid, the players are enjoying it, and I really enjoy mid-level adventures.
I agree with you, Jason. I mean, that's where the characters really take shape, right? At that age, they really come into their own. So, well, what do you think about that, Anna?
Well, yeah, and I think it's also from the fact that most editions of D&D, that's where the sweet spot is. That's where you feel like the world is still a mystery and it's still dangerous, but you still can throw a punch, so to speak. The characters have a bit of stamina. They can take on much bigger variety of enemies and stuff. So that's where you feel you have the most options that are fun, so to speak. So in that way, it's often the easiest to get get a real good game going. But for me, it's very much when meaning the introductory adventures. Then you go out and chasing rats to begin with, and sheeps they get lost, and all the kind of local little things that are not dangerous at all. You basically don't engage much in the world because the world is too dangerous. So you have to come up with excuses to stay local and stay away from it. But once you move into the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 level kind of characters are starting to come out, become, then now you can introduce the big guys in the world, not directly but indirectly. I mean, you can throw in factions and enemies and stuff that are the world shakers, so to speak, the big ones, and that's what I usually do in my campaigns. Once you reach mid-level, that's when the character can start take on real foes, big foes and stuff. They're probably not on the major radar, they're not major opponents or a problem, but they can start tackling it, and that is the most fun. They can start punch above their weight at times, and start involving and get into messes they have a hard time getting out of. So
I think this is also.
Yeah, and
Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
well, I was going to say they start getting involved with, more powerful monsters, characters that have, they're dealing with larger numbers. They're dealing with more powerful characters, and they're dealing with more interesting monsters too. So there's quite a bit going on at mid-level, and like they're out in the world. They've got resources now. They've got some magic items. They've got some decent spells for the magic users. The fighters can they can do some damage, and they can take some damage. So you're right into a very, very nice spot before they get so powerful that you start losing some of the balance of the game.
Yeah, and I forget who we were talking. I know a new person jumped onto our Discord in Greyhawk Online, and he was talking about hey Longitalis, what's going on? Good to see you. Was talking about how and he sounded like he was doing the adventure pathing where he was going from 1 to 20, and then they would end it. And I said in the chat, I said we have it's been 40 years. We have 0 player characters that made it to 20th level. Just we never have gotten up that high. I think the highest is 17th or 18th, and it's a straight halfling thief. Normally the super high for us in Greyhawk gets to be about 15, is really about as high as it gets. I know Forgotten Realms is a little different. Forgotten Realms tends to go higher because a lot of the Harpers are like 30th level even. But that just seems to be where our sweet spot is. Is this area where we're going to discuss right here tonight. So why don't we get at it right off the bat? So guys and gals watching, I wanted to show you this. If you didn't see it right off the bat, this is happening. We got a big meeting next week. This is happening. Virtual Greyhawk Con, October 2nd through the 4th. Hey, Phantom, it's happening. It's a reality. We're working on the details, and first weekend in October is when we will be holding this great event. So just want to let you know that. And COVID, we're all good. We're all good with COVID. So this is the one. Let's start right here in this stack of modules. By the way, I'm showing off something right here on the chair if you can see what it is. So Temple of Elemental Evil, right? This is the ultimate penultimate, the original mid-level adventure. All right, so you're looking at, you go from Hamlet, you go to Nulb, when you get to the temple, you're running in that level is right around 5th, and when you're getting out, you're 7th or 8th of this. That it's that big. So I've run it as a mega adventure, running out of Greyhawk to be, running out of Hamlet to begin, and it's just, I know a lot of people, you either love it or hate it. So, do either of you have any opinions on it?
I would love to see the original notes. I'm not a big fan of the lower temple itself. I think T1's beautiful, best starter, and then you really do need to build up a little before you start digging into that temple. There's it might be a monster module, but you do need some. If you're running a 1E campaign or a 2E campaign, I think you need to have some filler in there between going from like the moat house to going to the temple
Oh,
itself.
definitely. Yeah. And I think it was 7 adventures. We showed that on the entry level adventuring. Um, I did about 7 in between Nulb and Hamlet, interspersed on either. If you guys, Mike, are you still running Hamlet? Is that, I'm sorry, Temple? Are you still running Temple? Because Mike Celestian, and I'm going to do a shout out right now to his channel. He does Fantasy Grounds in 2E, and Mike has great uh, group that's running through Temple of Elemental Evil in Fantasy Grounds. So yep. Okay. You're on level 3, so he's not done it yet. So if you want to see it being played on Saturday night, that's where you can go in Fantasy Grounds. Really cool. Anna, have you ever touched this, scratched it?
Well, yes, I must give it a special mention because Hamlet is actually the only module that I've actually run basically as intended. The other modules I never ran as intended.
Okay.
None of them. I read them and used them in my map, and I use NPCs from them, and I use kind of elements and stuff in it. But no, but that's basically it. So for me, it's always interesting when you guys discuss the modules that way, because it's, to me, that's a dimension of the game that I've kind of used in a different way. So this is really cool. But mid-level gaming is where the most of, that's like 80% of a character's life or adventuring career is kind of the mid-level. The first ones you tend to kind of, I tend to prolong it by starting at 0 level, so I can make that kind of journey
Oh, cool.
into mid-level longer. But then you stay from like 4th to 10th. That's at least half the span of the adventure. And after that, it tends to, the pickings get sparse, so to speak, because everything takes longer to yeah.
It does, definitely. It's a momentous adventure. Well, Temple is, because it's really a course changer for a group. I won't ruin it for people who haven't run it, but there are some key points in it that you can make some major decisions on a direction that your campaign will go. So that I like, and I like that it's not at super high level, that you make those decisions and you can go on to other things within it. So that's why I want to discuss that one first.
Well, I always thought like Temple has it has 2 phases. Well, you've got a very when you're into Temple itself and you're beyond Nulb and you're beyond Hamlet and the Moat House, you're in the Temple. You have a small little thing on the exterior, and then you get into that like middle section of Temple. And then for me, where it falls apart completely is the lower levels, where I'm just completely unimpressed with the way
nodes.
Yeah, no. I'm not a fan of the lower levels of Temple.
I'm not a big fan of the nodes as well. I mean, I like the 4 levels itself, and then you have Joe Block, who's done Beneath the Temple as well. He has a little addition there, which is cool. So there's some things you can add in and take a look and definitely make some changes to it. And once again, if you need to add in some content when you're doing a low level entry in Hamlet from Nulb, especially but the Temple, the whole storyline I liked what they were doing with it, and that's why it's on my wall of fame. So.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, if you're dealing with that area, I do a 579 campaign now, and so that version of the Temple is done for me. So I've worked on Nulb, and I've worked on the city of Verbabank itself, and that is like my mid-level adventuring right there between Nulb and Verbabank. So I've taken that area and I've been moving it up toward a solid mid-level kind of campaign idea right there.
So Thunder said he never run it. What are some momentous things? And I know Josh Zarathon is lurking now, or we'd be talking about the stupid vampire deal all over again for the 100th time. So I'm getting this in now that you know Thrommel's freed in this, and he has a final word broadsword Fragarak. If I saw that's terrible handwriting, typing on me. That he gives to the party, and there's all thank you, Will. What freaking vampire? And there's the crystal, the orb of Ayus is in this, or the crystal skull of Ayus. Which you know you got to find the pieces, the components for in the nodes.
Oh, I hated the nodes.
Yeah, the orb of golden death. You know, there's all. There's a Leomund item in here too.
Okay.
It's called Leomund's Labial Locker. I say Labial right? It's Labial Locker. Yep. So there is an actual Leomund item in Temple of Elemental Evil.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It's really the crystal panel and the vampire throne. Yeah, I completely agree, Mike. I just do 100%. Our sweet friend Skagath. So as long as there are no monks, you're happy. Yeah. So Skagath does a lot of streaming, and just don't put a monk in his way, and you'll be fine in his game. So thanks, Skagath. Really appreciate it. So it's right in Verbal I think I got the map popped up here. I tried to. Whoops, wrong button. See, I did hit the wrong button once. All right, I tried to make these larger maps just to show the area in some sort of order. I'll probably go right by it, and then we'll have to scan through them all right away. Oh man, I thought that was early. All right, here we go. Okay, so let me blow this up a little bit. Man, and I messed up. All right, you have the entire Verbalbank area. Oh my gosh, let me just look for it. You have the entire Verbalbank area, and you also have. You guys can tell I've been drinking this afternoon too. Sorry about that. Celebrating a little bit. I had like 3 Strongbows, which is really a lame drink for a guy like me to be drinking, but I drink them, and it's
you have to celebrate.
Had to celebrate. Had to have a celebration.
Yeah.
Hamlet. I know there's a map in here. Oh my god. I can't even find it. Terrible. Hardby, Diamond Lake, Altamira Bridge. It's probably the last place I'm going to look. All right. Guys, it was there. All right, forget it. We'll move on so I don't make a complete fool out of myself today.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly, unless you're dealing with that the Living Greyhawk triad, it's a very empty place.
Jason, you got lost there.
Yeah, he went over his time budget there.
Yeah, so, we did. So this area has been really detailed up by Anna. There, okay. As you can see, Hamlet you see that green shield in that area. There's Hamlet and Nulb in the Moat House.
Yep.
And the Crown Hills. That's all Living Greyhawk detail in there. So. Yep.
Yeah, they were kind of very prolific in many towns and villages and stuff they added into it. So it became one of the densest areas of the map. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and a small area, so
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of they really put in a lot of detail. I've left it on the map, because it's not hurting anything for campaign wise. But when we go back to the 576 map, we may lose some detail there, just because it just would make sense. So we'll see what's there and what's not. And I'm assuming it's not all there.
Most of it is there. Because
it is still there. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
For the same reason you just mentioned, it didn't contradict anything in 576. So
Thunder, the answer to that question, Thunder asked you, do you borrow from modules? And tell them what your answer is for your maps.
Oh, for my maps, yes. I try to first of all, what goes on the map is first of all everything as much as possible what's written in the text. Because there's way more things in the text that is on the official maps, and there's many reasons for it. And the main reason is that the maps are often made at the same time the text is, and what the map cartographer knows is what the art order tells you to put in, which is not much often. So that's one reason, and often then things are contradictory because the text is, I think, the correct thing, and there are contradictions in one source of text to another too. But so that's the main reason. And then there's a lot of other cool things being produced later on that, and if it doesn't contradict earlier things, I put it in there. And that goes for fan content too. If there are areas where people have made awesome cool contribution and added to it that doesn't contradict, and it is something that has been accepted in the Greyhawk community, at least to some reasonable extent, then it makes it into the map. And I'm using again Mike Bridges' Owl as a perfect example. He took an underutilized area of Greyhawk and wrote some awesome material for it and published it on his website and stuff, and now it's being widely accepted and praised in the Greyhawk community. So that's a perfect way to get something on my map. So you need to alert more than me, so to speak. Put it on contact Greyhawk online and post it there for the Earth Journal. Start a blog and start putting it out there and letting people have fun with it. That's the best way of doing it.
Smart, yeah, and you get your information out,
Yep.
you know, to,
And
the
then there's
communities.
content that is implied in modules. It's not even, it's hinted at. It's like there is like a lord somewhere that is like a knight or whatever, and if he's a lord, he comes from a place and his name is there, but that place is not on the map. Then I try to figure out where he comes from and I put that one on the map. And there's even the Undying is a perfect example. There are lots of these kind of rulers and lorders and shakers and NPCs and stuff that comes from a place that is not on any map, and it's just hinted at. So I realized that, okay, Lord so and so has a castle that is named that way, and I put that keep or castle or town on the map, so to speak. So some of it is derived content, I guess could be a good term.
It's a very good system, because if it's in what Anna does, if it's in a module that's official, it's a published source. So putting that map location on the map makes total sense.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
just trying to make sense
Yeah.
that person where he comes from or whatever. So that, and the same thing with political entities. Some of them are not directly hinted at, but I realized that if you have a lord and a knight, whatever is that mighty, then there is a local little area, and it's not so much on the public map, but on my campaign map, I've added tons more stuff like that. Most countries are divided up in local level, regional, province level, and take for your own differences up level them. So there are counties and earldoms and archbaronies, and then you have the local little baronies and viscounties and stuff like that on the local level. So they're local and regional, and then empire level or kingdom level, nobles and stuff everywhere. So yeah.
Beyond maps, I don't think Anna borrows from modules, barely, right? As far as running adventures, you're not.
I borrow NPCs and I borrow locations. That's and also factions, meaning there are factions and stuff. But I usually flesh it out way more, so to speak, and I try to make much more of much more dynamic. Most modules are stale, meaning the characters are supposed to go from this location to that location, and then they meet that monster and they defeat that monster in that location as the module intends. My games are way more dynamic, meaning the inhabitants, whether they are monsters and NPCs and so on, they move about just as much as the characters do. Some monsters are very stationary, meaning a ghost that haunts a certain basement room, it's stuck there. But all the other ones, they move around and interact in the world as much as the characters do. So they don't sit, that half ogre that is supposed to sit and guard that room, he's not sitting there all the time for 10 years waiting for the characters to come and kill him. So I try to, all that is dynamic and reacts to happenings and stuff. So my campaigns, especially when you go from the low to mid level, you have to start paying attention to what's happening in the world, meaning are there hunger and stuff? Is there an evil cult being established that starts stealing food and spreading disease and stuff? Then you have to first kind of, and that's kind of wrong example right now, so let's skip that one. But if you have an evil
That's
cult,
okay.
yeah, evil cult that starts spreading mayhem or whatever, then the characters first of all, they can choose sides, meaning we want to spread mayhem too, so let's join the cult. Or you want to say, okay, we want to take on the cults. Do they take on the cults themselves, or do they go out and alert others that the cult is there and try to drum up support? And if they try to drum up support, what are the other local rulers think about it? Meaning some of the local rulers might realize that this cult is good for me, so they might start aiding the cult either outright or in subtle in kind of secreted form, because the cult is they influence the cult to go and spread and kill people in the neighboring realm, for instance. Or the local rulers might say that, oh, these adventures are exactly what I want, and they can gang up and they get resources and stuff. And how the adventures, the characters behave kind of tells the story. And I don't know which side. I simply throw the setting at the players, and the players pick and choose and where to go and with order to do it, and I just move the other chess pieces around and see what happens. So I rarely have an idea of how things will go. So, and that is fun in some ways and it's frustrating in others. That there are pros and cons to both approaches, or whatever approach you take. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
no railroads in Greyhawk.
Yeah.
Not in the way I do campaigns. No.
No, I don't think that Greyhawk's really been set for anything that's forced, to go to A to B to C to D
Well,
kind of adventuring.
yes, some modules are clearly like, take the Hamlet, the Moat House, Temple of Element Evil. That's supposed to be kind of it's back and forth by the railroad. You're supposed to start in Hamlet figuring things out, and then realize that, oh, there's something out in the Moat House. You go out and you bash them, and then you go back and go back to Hamlet to regroup and rest up a bit, and then you go out again, and then you find the bigger baddies out in the Hamlet. And that is kind of a usually seems to be a common approach. Or you simply go to a location and you're trapped there and you have to kill whatever is there until you can go back out again. So and that's in a lot of ways it's easy, because one of the things that as a DM you have to face, especially not so much in the beginning, but when you get into mid-level, is how effective do you want the career, how fast do you want the careers? Meaning, do you want the characters to reach 15th, 18th level in the next year or two? Or do you want to see that this is a 10-year thing, meaning I want to play every day of the character's life, and that means that you have to play for years before you reach that. So and that means that you have to figure out downtime, and a lot of adventuring in my campaigns is not actively going into dungeons and killing things. It's you do a lot of in between, meaning you defend a town and you do political work, and you go out and you make friends and enemies and stuff. And then when you have the sessions, or when you have to fight a battle, you have to go out and kill someone, or you get the town you're in get ambushed, and then we have a session where you defend the city walls against whatever oncoming thing and stuff like that. Or you decide as a character that we go hide somewhere because this is not our fight, and so a lot of things like that happens in my campaigns. It's up to the players which side to pick, and it's not obvious which side you pick at times. So it's something is very obvious and other things are more subtle. And also to find evidence and figure out who you want to fight for is one of the big decisions to take in a game.
So Thunder asked a question. I'm going to try and answer this, and then we'll go into some other ones. And I'm going to tie one in here. How many like classics have I rerun? Well, back in the old days when we didn't have very many modules, you had Judges Guild. You had one or two other third party, like you had some roll aid stuff. It wasn't that great. But you had, like, in the days of 1E when we were playing, there were not that many modules to run. There were some Dragon and Dungeon. I don't even think Dungeon was out yet. There were some Dragon modules, and, if you weren't... So we ran some in the 80s and 90s. But now, most of the adventures, there's a lot of characters that come out of it and may stay in your campaign. But let me give you an example of one. I try and, like, once in a blue moon, I throw a curveball in. And that is, I would like to revisit. I haven't done this since I've been streaming, so we're talking over 2 years. This one, Baltron's Beacon. Okay, this is located in the Saltmarsh area in the whole marshes, and it's a great classic of this level. Levels 4 to 8. It's fantastic. It's on my wall of fame. I think it was Adventure. This is a guess. Yes. Hey, what's up there, Mike? This is a guess. It was Adventure number 799, I think it was. So we're going back. We're going back like 80 adventures, and I placed this and didn't tell them what they were doing in the Mist Marsh outside Greyhawk with a group. And it was in smack dab in the middle of the Mist Marsh, and I ran it, and they didn't, realize what they were going through, and I made some changes and stuff. So occasionally is the answer to that. So I'll give you that. I'll get you your VIP. I upped it to 2 weeks for those turn-ins, guys, instead of one. That way it's a lot easier on me. So I'll get that to you, Mike. Thank you so very much. But yeah, that's one.
Yeah, reusing locations, I think it's a great way to do it, because I think the players often like the familiarity. Going back to it, it's fun to go back to a location you visited years ago and see what's happened, and you can rekindle things, or go back and see that was that asshole that, I'm sorry I'm using that term, but that whoever in the town that put them in jail or stole things from them, and then go back when you're 8th level from when you were 2nd level, and then see if he's around, and then get justice done, so to speak. That could be that could be a lot of fun. So you can that could be, you can kind of plant seeds into a gaming group that way, that you can kind of cash in, let the players cash in later. That could be an awesome way of doing it. So even if you don't, I often go back to the same location, and often my adventure is often in a very limited area, at least until the characters get up in level, because traveling in a fantasy world, at least in my version of Greyhawk, can be very dangerous. Wildernesses and stuff, people don't live there for a reason, because there are other things living there. And if you go into a dragon's territory, at least he will, if he's nice, he will just steal everything you own that is of value, and otherwise, and he might eat you too, unless you promise to come back and take more, and he might take half the party and eat that. Or take them prisoners or whatever. So meaning there's a lot of things that can go wrong that way. So yeah.
So two things. So Thunder, yes, we did a
I'm
show.
Sorry, I'm
No, you're good. We did a show months ago on. It may have been a year ago. I'm losing track of time. Where we did published Dungeon and Dragon modules that I recommended and my friends recommended. We did one. I'll find the number for you in the Gabbin. So Jason, this one that's up here. Why don't we talk about this one, because you brought this to my attention from mid-level.
Sure.
Isle of Dread.
Yeah,
let's go to that.
It's Isle of Dread. It's an X series, so it wasn't made for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons originally, but it's definitely something that those old D&D things you could easily convert, because the systems were so similar. So it was designed for level 3 to 7, but not AD&D. So it's very easy to bump up, and it is kind of mid-level anyway. I originally hadn't run it, but a number of people have and set it off into the the Azure Sea or down by Monoland. And so Isle of Dread, now I haven't done the Dungeon Magazine version, but I was just recently running Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and so when they were finishing up with that, I planned to either let them take ship, and they would have ended up in the 5e Isle of Dread that came out from Goodman Games, or else if they were going to go into land, I was doing 5e and very unsure of myself, so I was going to either have them bump into the Goodman B2, keep on the Borderlands. Isle of Dread is actually a little better set for it, because it is a mid-level wilderness-style adventure. You're on this island. There's it's not a bunch of castles and dungeons as much as it is tribal compounds and wild animals. And it's a nice, fun little place. It's a little Burroughs like, if you're or even Jules Verne a little. It's Mysterious Island, or Land of the Lost, or The People That Time Forgot. Almost, it's a nice little wilderness adventure, and it is the beginnings of mid-level. It's not where you're going to be going over into high level. It's where you're going to be coming up from low level and digging into your mid-level strengths. And so Isle of Dread, at least as presented from the original module, and the 5e conversion is a very nice, solid, wildernessy adventure, and it's you can connect it to Greyhawk, but at the same time, it's not your normal setting, so you don't really have to have any of your normal Greyhawk connections as much as you're doing more of your like Hepmona Land connections. It just seems like it's I really like what I've read, but it's not something I've really experienced on how the players are going to enjoy it. But I've liked what I've read through Isle of Dread.
I have seen a lot of the 3.5ers connecting it to Sasserine, I guess. Does that make sense too? Like closer to Sasserine for Isle of Dread?
Well, it's closer than, because Isle of Dread is like 3,000 miles south of the Flannies. It's way out in the ocean down there. Oh, hang on a second. Now I need to click on the map again, because the Pearl Ocean, or the Vohun Ocean, or the Pearl Sea, and so it's even outside of my map. So it's really far down there. How far? Different sources say different, and that's one of the, because there's many different islands down there, and I'm pretty sure that the original map of Greyhawk, or the Flannies, that is in that Darlene, and the small little tiny little map had the Isle of Dread. I don't think the Isle of Dread was included at all. So there were some islands down there, and then when they included Isle of Dread, I think some of them realized, oh, we can make one of these islands Isle of Dread.
Okay.
And in some sources, it became one of the islands that was sketched in, became the Isle of Dread. In other sources, it didn't. And then, so there were names, all the other little islands were named in other sources. So I realized that, what the heck? So I placed the Isle of Dread even further south and kept the names of the other island. That's why it ended up on the outside of my map. But it's in the Sasserine is in the right direction from Greyhawk. Okay. It's halfway there. So
that's what I saw online.
See, I mean, yeah. The original modules X series. It's in fact it's the first Mystara. It is the very first blank map of the known world, with the way they called the Mystara setting. So it's a retrofit into Greyhawk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bit like the Keep of the Borderlands and others that appear in other campaign worlds too, and it's kind of, when you run it, I think it's you can say, oh, if you run Forgotten Realms, then you place it here. If you run Greyhawk, you place it here, etc. And there's several modules that are that way.
Yeah, there are. I'm not sure if Isle of Dread was one of them. I mean, the B modules did that a lot, but I think the X modules were less so of
they were probably not set anywhere. I think it's one of these. What Mike Merles had a great, when he had a presentation at GaryCon last year, he called when he talked about the worlds of TSR, and it was kind of awesome, because he said some campaign worlds are like a home base, so to speak, where you adventure and stuff, and then there are others that are vacation or destination settings, and I think Isle of Dread is one of these destination settings. In the campaign, you can go there and kill things and get treasure and solve mysteries and all that, and then you come back home again. And I think the Isle of Dread is a vacation setting, so to speak.
No, I don't know. X1, I'm pretty sure I remember it being the very first link. It has the first known world map in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the very first thing where they indicated Mystara.
Yeah. But the good thing is that it's like when we talked about Keep on the Borderlands in our entry level, it just makes sense to go in Greyhawk. It just does. And that's what we're trying to describe here is, okay, it's not official Greyhawk, but it is for almost everyone that's watching here in the Greyhawk community. Isle of Dread, it deserves to be in the Greyhawk setting, and that's one that we think you should add. So,
well, I think they did that Dungeon Magazine Isle of Dread business. Yeah. I thought they did Greyhawk fit that one.
I agree 100%, but you know, there's still that.
It was in the which one? The one of the Paizo's adventure paths.
Savage.
Savage
Savage
World.
Tides.
Yeah, Savage Tides. Yeah, that ended up, I think, in Isle of Dread. It culminated in Isle of Dread, and they started in Sasserine and up in that area. So that's why another reason why you tie it in.
All right, so let's go to these. Carlos, I promise we're going to talk about yours, man, because they're awesome. But let's do these because we already did Belgian speaking. I'm going to fan these out. Now, I don't have Dwellers of Forbidden City because I forgot it because I'm an idiot. Well, here are all these I-Series adventures. They're all mid-level, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're all great mid-level adventures. So Jason brought up Dwellers of the Forbidden Sea. Let's talk about that first, then we'll go through the rest of them here. By the way, that's a reality, guys. Yeah, if you just joined us, it's going to happen. So we want everyone's participation. Oh, dude, no, man, because we need new content, Carlos. That's what I'm saying. New content. That's the newest content we have here. So we got to talk about it. But these are all fantastic. And multiple ones, including Balchan speaking on my wall of fame. So, Jason, let's see. Hopefully I have these in numerical order. There we go. I probably went right by the 12 of the Forbidden Seeds. Let's talk about that one first.
Sure. I mean, well, that's I2.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I have that one in a special place, but we'll go.
All right. Well,
yeah, do Dwellers first.
I1 is such a. It's the. I think it's the first Hep Monoland adventure.
Yes.
Oh, there you got it. You got it.
Yep.
Oh, it is just. I mean, you've got that beautiful Arrow Lotus cover, but it is just an incredible. It's. See. It's set as a mid-level adventure, and certainly it is, but you have an entire city. There's a map there of this ruined city, and it introduces the Yuan Ti, who are one of my favorite,
Cool.
the half snake men.
Did you cut out there? He probably
I think he
out
cut
there.
out.
I never ran it. It's one of the few old classics I never ran.
That's the one set in Hepmona Land. I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guys, I got my context in, so I'm gonna be doing eye drops tonight. I had them in all day.
In there.
Jason,
Now you're back again, Jason.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you're back.
Anyway, you have an entire city to develop.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to just run it as a module, it is an adventure module in itself. You don't have to do the get into detailing a whole city, but you can. And they have a beautiful map of that city. I absolutely love Dwellers in the Forbidden City. That is just cool. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Also, it is also there's a Merritt novel called Dwellers in the Mirage, and there's what is his other one, The Face in the Abyss, and The Face in the Abyss pretty much is Dwellers in the Forbidden City as well. And it is just, it's the way I like looking at Gygax's gourd material for source material, I like looking at the A. Merritt stories as source material. And you can take and you could spend years developing that whole area right there. That's introduced in the Dwellers in the Forbidden Sea. If I'm not mistaken, it's also got Scarlet Brotherhood mentions in there, or Scarlet Order.
Yeah, probably an old name for it, but
Yeah.
It's long too. If I recall looking at it, it's not a short module either. So
well, back then when you had like the G series where your modules were 8 pages long, I think I may just be a 32-page module. I don't think it's super big. It's just very dense. There's so much potential there.
Jason cut out. I want to say something as Jason cut out that Carlos says there'll be. Oh, you cut out. I was going to say Carlos just said there's going to be a second adventure set in Hepmona Land in September. So,
well, that's fantastic.
Carlos was something sneakily coming out soon. So, all right. Jason, sorry you cut out there. Let's go to this next one. This is one of my favorites of all time, Tomb of the Lizard King. This one is also in that salt marsh area, in the whole marshes.
That's true.
This and Balchan Speaking are both right there.
That is another kind of there's a lot of modules, and it's a little bit of an adventuring ground for characters down there. So,
absolutely.
Well, I think Gary Holian is listed as who set this in the Greyhawk areas.
Really?
I was looking
Okay.
it up on Wikipedia, and Gary's entry's been removed, but he's still mentioned as the source for moving this over to, because you're not going to find any Greyhawk.
Yeah, any direct Greyhawk references, you're absolutely correct in this. But Sakatha, the Lizard King, is one of the great antitheses in a single adventure of all time. I mean, come on, a vampiric undead lizard man, Lizard King is nasty. So it's it is Thrommel like. I'm just kidding. But yeah, there's also, I believe there's a smaller dragon in it. It's difficult. It's Greyhawk, Mike. Thanks for the cheer. It's a great
Mike.
adventure. Now, Mike brought this to my attention. I didn't even realize this. All the UKs are in Sea Prince, Hold the Sea Princes. I didn't know that.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna go. I have
yes.
one on the list here. So this one, if you can find this one, Brian kind of ran this in his 5e, but ran it with a different spin recently when he does his 5e group off of Obsidian Portal. I'm going to link his Obsidian Portal, guys. If you're a 5e Greyhawk person, you want to check it out. All his content there. He's my friend, and he does Saturday Night Specials, and he's one of my mods and real good friends there. So you want to check out his stuff. So that, I love that one. Let's go to. I'm going to let Anna and we'll skip that one. We're going to go to the I3 series next. The Desert of Desolation, because I did not run them, but let's get through all these I's. And I only got 2 of them on here because the third one is higher level. So have at it, Jason. Have at it, Anna. The Desert of Desolation series.
Well, yeah, I don't know much about it, so please.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's just getting back in the day when you wanted to run something in the Backlunish West. You didn't really have that many pre-module choices. Now, this is something that ended up being set in the. It ended up being set in Forgotten Realms. It was originally 3 modules that were produced independently that TSR bought. And
by the way, from the Dragonlance writers, Tracy and Laura Hickman.
Yes, from their private company.
Yep.
I actually owned a couple of the originals that they did. Very nice production too. And that was kind of their gateway into TSR. And they are it's a very Egyptian style set of modules. And for me, I use Zyph as very pseudo-Egyptian. So it fit very nicely in, along with the module, I think it's B4, that has another kind of Egyptian pyramid city.
Rahisa? Is that it?
No, that's Rahija. Was another module of theirs that was published, but that's B4's the Lost City. Yeah, I see awesome. Dogram's got it. And but anyway, I3 to 5, really, you don't have to do much to make it a Backlunish. Far West, I had it as a Far West Egyptian style Backlunish setting. It's a lot of fun. But like you said, the 5th module is kind of getting more powerful. There's genies and madrids and some very powerful creatures in there. So it's it gets beyond mid-level very, very quickly at the end.
And so Mike Celestian says he wants to run it. It's not fantasy grounded up yet, but I have not. Once again, 3 more of the I's, including Dwellers for the Forbidden City, I've never run. So that's 4. And if you count N1, I never have run N1, which is crazy. But I'm planning on trying to run that with a new group whenever we get the new group with this COVID thing. So that's 5 modules published that I have not run yet. But I know there's a lot of people who love the series. So I had it's mid-level.
And don't hesitate to put it in Greyhawk. It was retrofitted in the Forgotten Realms. It fits into Backlunish Greyhawk perfectly fine.
Yeah, Mike says run B4 and then I3 to 4, 5 as a good path. So there you go.
Yeah, B4 as written is the beginning module, B module, and it's lower level. But since it's another one of these Lost City things, you can pump it up to whatever level you want it to be very easily.
All right, great. Now let's get to the. I'm not going to say most controversial because I love this module and it should not be controversial for Greyhawk, Ravenloft.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Want to talk about a pretty penny to find an original one of this? Jeez. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's absolutely insane. And I look what I have. I even have the red overlay
Oh,
for
yeah.
still in this one. So this
Wow.
and this
Oh, so
once
it's
again
one of is original Ravenloft one of these that had the red that you can read the
Yeah,
the-
absolutely.
Ah, cool. I have a couple of the other ones that have that.
No, did it?
Yeah, it goes in here.
Ravenloft?
Yeah,
Because I don't have
Magic
the-
Viewer. Yeah, absolutely. within
Maybe
here.
I have the original Ravenloft.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. It might be sitting here
I
somewhere.
didn't think you needed a Magic Viewer for Ravenloft.
No, they got parts in here. There's parts in here, I believe, that have
Okay.
that have special codes, and I think it's with the. They're not called Rene in here. They're called Lothrans, whatever, the Gypsies.
Mhm.
This is pre Ravenloft is its own campaign world, so everyone loved this much that they said, "Oh, let's make it into something more, I guess, dramatic." But I love that you can place this anywhere. There's the antithesis major vampire, just as cool. Go ahead, Jason.
Well, this is the pre-Forgotten Realms, so
thank you.
It's very it stands its own, but it's also very easy to incorporate into Greyhawk.
Yeah, there's many places to put this. I put this in northern, if I recall, Keeland. I put this in, and it's we ran it a long time ago with some really classic characters, and the levels right in there, 5 to 7. 8th is not even too high for this. I think it is difficult. If you need some really hardcore, like my Undead Hunter class would fit well into this when it didn't exist back then. Paladins, clerics that could turn undead well, you really need them. But it's a cool setting. Barovia can come and go with the mists. Yes, it can, Phantom. So yeah, having anything to do with it. Why? I have the red film in here for some reason. I don't know why it's in here.
Yeah,
there's a couple of other ones that uses it. So yeah.
Well, like Carlos is saying here, how it fits into a Balkan feel of the. Well, Paranland I've always seen more as Switzerland, but Abyssal I've always had as kind of Hungary. So it's in that area there. I've always had that's a good fit for me for Ravenloft.
You need to make a couple changes, Thunder. Like there's putting in maybe 1 or 2 deities for Greyhawk, and not much at all because the theory of a lord, fallen lord, turning into a vampire is is something that can fit almost anywhere, especially in AD&D.
Yeah, I used a lot of the.
Go ahead, Dan.
I would say I used a lot of the inspiration from Ravenloft and similar in Wax Splinter in Rel Devon that is set there because there is the Prince Ferdinand and he's very much like he's a necromancer vampire that has lived hundreds of years. So he's the typical vampiric lord, so to speak. So you can use from Dracula and Ravenloft and stuff. And I used him some in my campaign, and it's kind of it's a type of it's such a classical villain in that is very close to normal fantasy, so standard classic fantasy. So
and what you do is you see the level of it looks like the Dragonlance modules because it's a Hickman. It's another Hickman one. We have this 3D levels and stuff. So it's
they were very popular for a while. Then
absolutely.
Kind of awesome. Yeah,
it's large. It's large. So, what were we gonna say, Jason? Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just mentioning. Like there's I-10, which is the sequel to it, and again, pre-Ravenloft is its own setting.
Yeah.
And that, since we've touched on I-7, I think we've gone through most of the mid-level I modules.
Yes, we did. I wanted to get through them before we go off on a little bit of a tangent. I have 7 more that I recall of classic ones. So I say let's bounce out of this and go. Jason, we'll start with you. Some third-party ones, which we haven't
Well,
discussed yet.
I mean, I can really go to a severe third party. It's I was talking to Jay about this earlier. There was a series back when Dungeons and Dragons started. A lot of companies tried to come out with their own thing. Now there was a wargaming company called SPI. It became a subsidiary of Avalon Hill, and they developed their own fantasy game called Dragon Quest.
Mm-hmm.
And their very first adventure was called Palace of Ontonkel, and that one is it's a pretty solid mid-level adventure. It's got some demons and devils in it, but it's also got this magicians and this tribe of not really tribal kind of people, more like a bunch of Vikings than anything else. But they've taken over an old abandoned palace, and the players have been conned to go and rid the palace of them. And it's got some wonderful maps. It's got some interesting ideas. It's not what I'd call a great adventure on its own, but it is a nice, solid mid-level adventure that you have to convert to. You have to convert to AD&D or Dungeons and Dragons, and especially have to convert it over to Greyhawk. I'd say you could probably drop this in about anywhere you're going to find an old abandoned manor house or big structure, big palatial structure. You could have it, I guess, somewhere along the borders of the Great Kingdom. You could have it in any of the more established kingdoms. It's not going to be a place that's incredibly old, but it's going to be a place that was once grand, is now abandoned. You could even do it as a thing around the edges of the Horn Society, where it could be a Horn Society palace.
Nice.
So I really liked it. I don't have you don't have the pictures up to show it.
Yeah, because I didn't know about it till 7 o'clock.
I would recommend. Dragon Quest had a few adventures.
Okay.
And they had some very nice looking maps and some interesting ideas. And this is called Palace of Ontonkel.
Awesome.
And it is a nice, solid mid-level adventure if you ever want to do some conversion work for it.
Excellent. If you can find it, or if anyone can find it, and get a link up there, that would be great, or a reference to it somewhere and publish, because I don't have. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places you can put it. So good one. I'm going to go to this. Okay, and this I actually have the copy of this. This is the first one I ever got from these. I know a lot of people like them. These are all in Drive-Thru RPG. This is Expeditious Retreat Press, Advanced Adventures. This one is, and they're all old school, levels 5 to 7. This is the Barrow Mound of Gravemore, and I talk about this a lot. Where we placed this is in the Hardby area, where there's issues out there with the necromancers, and this is like an area that there's a lot of burial sites of old lords and kings going back predating Greyhawk is the story I have. So I need to put this on the map, I think, Anna. You're looking at like the area south of High Pass in the mountains, before you hit that river, below that. All right, so you're looking at you're looking at south of Dalloway Castle. That's where I put this area called the Gravemore, and Lord Twall is in here. We all have talked about him before. This is the adventure where he comes in and all his items are out there. He's not like Vecna-like, but it's a really I don't know who else has used these. Yes, some of them are really good. Seeker, I agree. 90% of them are just download. Somehow I got a hard copy of this one years ago, and I liked it, and I wanted to bring that one up. So,
I think there's like 50 adventures in that.
Almost 50. You're absolutely correct. And some of them are really good. Some of them are average. Some of them are really, really good. I love that one. So, Anna, you want to bring one up?
I don't use modules, so for me, it's more like the principle of mid-level gaming. So I'm
Okay.
listening in and intriguing. So please go on, so you
Jason.
make sure you get all the
Well, let
cool
me
modules.
bring up now.
Yeah,
This
okay.
module, we've talked about it in the past. I'm not sure if it's on your wall. It's a Jacques, General Jacques.
Yep.
It's called Caverns of Thracia.
I was
Now,
gonna do that one. I should have.
now
Yeah.
this one is as written. It is a D&D module. It is levels 3 to 6 as written, but the 1970s it was written, and it is something that I use for Sluriton's Passage. The lower level adventuring in it, I kind of chop out, and instead it is a mid to high. But the Caverns of Thracia, and he's got the spelling. Seeker's got the
I'm gonna
the
pop
title
it up
down there.
right now, actually, because I actually was hesitant on this one, Jason, because it's so large. There it is.
Well, yes, that's the
That's the remake.
that's the Sword and Sorcery 5e, not 5e. What am I saying?
Third edition.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, third edition D20. They called that stuff, and that is their remake of it. The original cover art is a little better. I think it might be Jacques' cover art, and Jacques was not only a good module writer but also a wonderful artist. Graphic artist. So it's a very exciting adventure. It's probably the thing that you'd have to watch out for is it is a very populated adventure with creatures, and
Yeah.
in its way it's nonstop, so that you might want to thin it down. Or what I did was I both thinned down some of the things to make the encounters a little more surprising, and I also I increased the I added more of a demonic element to it, so that it gets, actually, in the way I run it, mid to high.
Okay.
Whereas the module's written 3 to 6, so it's a very low to mid. But I being Sluriton's Passage, I wanted it to be more.
Yeah, I remember you said that, and it sounds perfect to do that.
That's cool.
Because that's 200 miles, isn't that passage over 200 miles?
Oh yeah, that's hundreds of miles.
Yeah, so that it could fit in there. Yeah, absolutely. So
it's
great.
not the whole passage, but it is a nice example of it, and it's not a hard convert. Also, I'm a 1E guy, so taking D&D and making an AD&D is never too difficult.
Definitely. Good one. All right, so I use this guy a lot. We've talked about Creation's Edge games, and I got 3 of them up here, and we'll go over them quickly. This one I did not stream, but I think the next 2 I have up here I streamed. This is the Crystal Coffins. These are very short adventures. They're on drive-through. They're $1.50 each, guys, for download. How can you beat that? That's it. So, yeah, it's you know why I don't see you in? Okay. I had it covered. I didn't know. There you go. So the ever mysterious Tim is going to join us, guys. There we go. And I didn't know he was coming. He was on there because I had that area covered where it said admit him. So your head's cut off.
And we got your chin.
There you go. So there, lower. Is it me? It must be me.
That's you.
That's me. Of course it's me. Hold on. So welcome.
Off with my head.
I'm trying. Yeah. There we go. I'm trying to get it. There we go. Okay.
I was
going to cut away
Jason,
some of Jason Savoda's picture because he's not there. So
yeah.
Otherwise, so yeah.
Jason, you had me at half-breed snake men. I was like,
oh,
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have the original 30 shit, don't you? The blue one. You have it there. It's there.
I don't know if I have the original. I have it in PDF.
So, Seeker, that one will be discussed next week, I promise. Dark Tower is one of Tim and Mar's favorites of all time. We'll go into detail on that one next week on high-level adventuring. Yeah, because that really is a high level adventure. All right,
Oh,
so this I've done a Ring for the King. This one we streamed. It's level 6 to 8. I did this right on the northern shore of the Cairn Hills, where the Near Deeve meets the Cairn Hills, is where I did this adventure. I ran this one, and it worked very well. Once again, like I said, you can't go wrong for $1.50 on the downloads, guys. And then I think I may have bypassed the other one. Whoops, we need to talk about that a little bit later. So, and the other one, I probably went by it already. Oh, this one's a joke name. Okay, I put it Saving Pirate Orion. Okay, a joke by these guys. It's levels 5 to 7, but guess what? It fits perfectly in a hard BC based campaign. So if you're running ship based combat or you're running ship based campaigns, perfect. So that's why I highly recommend it. How many of those do you see? You don't see a lot of those ship based adventures. I know the Saltmarsh one tried to do it. This one's kind of cool. And you can work it in with a little tweaking right into an adventure in the Harby area.
Ship based stuff is just, you get a lot of high adventure for very little, so it's great for lower levels to do because there's a lot of danger and risk.
Absolutely.
Even in the real world, there's let alone a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can pile a lot of monsters on without having to do too many dungeon maps or wilderness maps and stuff. You
Right.
can maneuver that ship around, so it's easy to kind of, yeah, you can make one detailed ship and you can reuse that map over and over again. And also it's something that you can often maneuver the characters the way you want them, because the characters often are just passenger on the boat, meaning it's a setting you can move around as you see fit, and the players, you can have the characters end up in whatever problem you want the party to. So you can railroad in a very effective way that way. But
Well, they're crew members, and so that way you can direct it based on what the captain does, and then grow them into being,
yeah.
So, Seeker, both of them almost made my cut for Goodman Games, but there's so many Goodman Games ones. I had a little beef with them. I said, forget it. So, but all right, let's talk about them real quick, and then we'll go to another Jason one. I got them once, and Seeker brought some of them up. Let's talk about Goodman Games. There are a slew of old school Goodman Games ones. First one I want to discuss. Man, doesn't it look like the A1? But it's called something similar. Secret of Smuggler's Cove. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Levels 5 to 7. It's perfect. Hey DM, what's up? By the way, DM, you won the drawing twice on Thursday. You won the sub drawing, then you won the what do you call it? Sign up drawing, and when we redrew because you couldn't win twice. So there you go. It's pretty funny. So Secret of Smuggler's Cove is cool, and you can place this almost anywhere on that for Harby adventuring as well. Near Deeve, all anywhere where they're ship based. Blue even Pomarge. Well, that's one there. All right. Yeah, you did. Second one, the Scaly God, levels 4 to 6. This is a long one. Another Goodman Games one that I like. And you can see I keep all the. Let's see who ran this one. The Huntsman ran this one. So I ran this out of the Altamira area.
Okay.
And for this one, so probably in the county of Ulick. And look, I got highlights in it, so it's not worth anything now, but that's okay. So another one of the
it's
Goodman
not always
Games
about
one,
money, Jay.
I ran. Yeah, I know. And then the third one, a little bit higher. Like I said, guys, they have like probably 30 adventures in this range. Goodman Games does. Area of the Crow God, another good one. Number 5. This is one of the earliest ones they ever did. And this one, I recall, it had a little bit of that Saltmarsh Tower feeling to it, as you can see, but it's higher level. One of those mysteries, and this was level 7 to 8, so it's right on the edge of this, where we're talking mid-level adventuring. Another cool one, and I could go on and on with Goodman Games ones.
They actually, the third DCC adventure is practically Saltmarsh written on it. It's called Mysterious Tower.
Yes, it's blue. It's like light blue. Yeah.
Yes, and
absolutely.
Alan Grow, his company Black Blade did a D&D version of that.
So there are great you just got to ask. Like the best thing to do. Let's see what Mike says. Are not bad, but Advanced Adventures they are Ostrich. Yes, Goodman Games ones only made about 5 to 8 of them, Mike, that are old school 1E 2E Ostrich,
Yeah.
and the rest of them are third, which are easy to convert, man. And then
Yeah, they
but
did it. They did a couple specials. They reconverted some of their
yeah,
DCZ line, and they did some that.
yeah, and I know he cut out Jason cut out, but Advanced Adventures are all old school. Expedition's Retreat Press, all the $1.50 ones are all old school as well. So if you're looking to get some old school games, definitely those. So so Tim, you're here. You and Jason, you want to talk about a Judges Guild one or two in the mid range? You got one?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, let me bring up this one. It's not exactly mid-range per se,
Okay.
but it's this open-ended series. It's called Frontier Forts of Kelnor, and what it does is it gives you this base kind of fort that's going to be out in the middle of some kind of wilderness area. And one of the versions that they have is kind of a cavalry outpost, and it is wonderful to put in the Shield Lands, the Bandit Kingdoms, dealing with the Rovers of the Barrens or the Wolf Nomads, or even in the Horn Society if you do an evil version of it, because it's really
very good. I agree with you. They basically set it up like in the ancient Empire of Kelnor. They all had a set like way they would make the fort, so the forts were all the same, so you could use the same template with some minor changes. And I know this because the Karn Syndicate was in a fort that was from that
the guys we just fought just recently.
the one that
That's awesome. I didn't.
the Karn
See,
Syndicate,
that's
the
cool.
guys that you fought, that fort they fought in was a Frontier Fort of Kelnor. Good one.
Nice connection.
I love that. I actually, when I was young, we built a scale model of that fort because it's not complex. It has a little tower. It has these barracks and stables areas, and we built a scale model of that and had so many. It was overrun so many times. It was just it was kind of like the Foreign Legion outpost fort where I absolutely love that. It's this tiny little Judges Guild supplement kind of thing, and it is just wonderful.
Yeah, they have like the baseline floor plans, then they have 3 slightly modified versions that you could use in your campaign somewhere. So as samples of aged and re-inhabited by some other monsters and critters.
They have the ruined version.
Yeah.
If anyone can find a link to that, please, place it up there, guys. Because I've never seen the cover of that one.
Oh, it's one of these things that's done on their newsprint. I think it was their issue 11 of Judges Guild Journal, where you would send off and you'd get a little envelope, and it would have the newspaper style Judges Guild Journal, and this tiny little this paper supplement that was just this. And today, this brown paper, because it's the kind that's gotten, the aging has just, the acids have just eaten away at it. But it is perhaps one of the most useful things that came out during the 70s.
Awesome.
Very, very handy. Judges Guild was very good at that.
Absolutely. I mean, look, they're still, isn't Goodman going to do Tegel Manor re-release in 5e? I mean, they're still re-releasing stuff.
Well, they are, but now that there's the modern controversy, that's all been killed.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stinks. All right, so let's hop over to, and we talked about this afternoon in competition series modules. This one's on my wall of fame, and I didn't want to pull it down because I only had one I could find, and that's hidden. This is like old. This is one of the Hidden Shrine of Tomokan, and I did not know this. But Harold Johnson wrote this. I had no idea who he was, and there's a discussion. There's a discussion that goes on, and I don't know if Josh is on, talking about, he was talking to him at a convention, a virtual convention. They're having all sorts of problems, and Josh recommended that he talk to me about streaming, and I made a joke. I said I thought all the Howard Johnson store locations in the United States were closed. You know, and so that didn't go over too well. And just
Yeah.
went over a little bit, but you know, I honestly,
Yep.
yeah, I honestly did not know about that. I really did not know that he
I
wrote
think
that. Yeah.
little point of trivia. It was a very early module, right?
Oh, very.
Yeah, it was a convention
And
thing to begin with.
it was the first one that had specialization in it because the cleric in there was specialized with mace.
Yeah. Wow. You're absolutely correct. Great memory. Holy jeez. And I think it's 78 is my recall on that
Wow.
one. Yeah.
Pretty useless information, but still.
No, it is. It's great information.
But, you know, specialization. You're like, huh. So they just buffed the cleric for that tournament.
Another one on my wall of fame, which I don't have the. Oh, I do have a second one. It's all beat up. Ghost Tower of Inverness. Low, I saw Low. If you're on, Low is running this on his channel. I saw this afternoon. He was actually running Ghost Tower of Inverness.
What level is that?
Levels 5 to 7. It's perfect for
Yes,
mid-range.
it's very mid-level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There's
So
some freaky stuff in there. for
yeah,
5 to 7.
I
I've
love.
never run that adventure.
I see you. See, Will. Hope you have a great one, man.
That has the reverse gravity section in it. That
It has
one
all
time where
sorts
you
of
like,
crazy stuff in it. The chess table board, all sorts of traps in it. It's right outside of Hardby. Literally, it's on the southeast coast of Hardby, and during certain storms you can see it, and that's what happened. I Easter egg preluded it as they were going by in a storm once on a ship, and that was the way they did it. The Hardby Irregulars did this not that long ago. When I talk about not that long ago, I talk about 5 years ago. So, hey, Scale and Scroll, thank you very much for that.
But these are both tournament adventures. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
C1's interesting because it has actual Mesoamerican deities in it.
Yep.
So it's unlike most earthly stuff. These are actually the deities from Mesoamerica, you know, the title's a little bit changed, and then of course they added the Earl Otis art there for the monochrome.
Thank you. There are a lot of all right. So I've been like hiding something behind me. If you can see it on the chair, and this is up now.
Yeah.
Leonard had a chance to come on, so this is levels 3 to 6. I think it should be a little higher. Deep Dwarven Delve. So the only place you're going to find an original copy of that is here.
Yeah.
In the silver edition, I'm going to flaunt this because I know I think Josh was looking for this. Josh Pop Zarathon was looking for this the other day, and he couldn't find one for under $250.
Sure.
Yeah.
They only made 5,000 copies.
Oh, is that it? Wow, I did not know it was
Yep.
only 5,000 copies. So within this, you have Keep on the Borderlands. You have these Return Twos, which we did, White Plume Mountain, and Against the Giant Return Twos, right? 25ths. You also have an original, the original Giants and the original White Plume Mountain, and then another Ravenloft is in here. Okay, but you had. Oh my gosh! You know what? It's not in here because I got it out for the Leonard show on Legends and Lore, so it's not. I never put it back in. So
you took the L3.
Yeah, L3 is in this too.
Now,
this is the only place you can find it. It's the third of the Lendor Isle series. The third of.
Go
ahead, Jason. Yeah.
There's an art print in there, and one out of every. I don't know if it's 100 or 500. I think it's 100. Yeah, there's 100 or 500 that were signed. So
nope.
Yeah, if you so there's like 4,900 that are unsigned and 100 that are signed.
Here it is.
Those are the.
Here.
Oh, you got the L3.
I did put it back. Yeah.
Yeah, there's only 5,000 of that made. That's why those usually run for 100 a pop at least.
But Leonard always complains a little bit that he didn't like the ending and they rewrote his ending. The ending is bizarre. So
yeah, I didn't like that much.
Yeah, the ending is a little bizarre. So you really need to work on it a little bit to make it work in your game. But you can place it anywhere, man. Dwarven Mine, you can place that anywhere in Greyhawk, besides Lendor Isle, if you don't go there. I'm not saying it to upset Leonard, right, Anna? But play a Leonard, like I said, Bone Hill too, one of the
Gord's
best.
mine where the stuff is. So
Yeah, one of the best of all time. So, just saying this to if you want to experience the Lender Isle stuff, L1, L2, and L3, you don't have to go to Lender Isle. You can place them in some spots. Seeker, I've never used Faster Monkey, but if you can put a connection up, I'll check them out, man. Definitely. I'd like to see what they got to offer. Always do. All right, so go. Jason, Tim,
Well, let me.
Anna,
Oh,
throw one up there.
I was thinking.
oh,
I had
well,
something
Anna.
before, but then you had so many. When you took that box set with all the cool stuff, I was like, I haven't seen that box set before. So I was like, damn, what is in
You
there?
could have
But
seen it when you were here, right?
oh,
Last
yeah,
year.
but I didn't know it existed that way. Maybe I've known it and forgot about it. So yeah,
That's
but
some nice stuff in there.
I was thinking city adventuring, big city adventuring is something that could be really, I think, good mid-level
yeah.
adventuring. So that way you can have a lot of because you kind of tough enough to withstand all the normal little dangers and stuff, and you can intimidate city guards and stuff fairly well when you start getting up there, and you have enough money to bribe and stuff, so you have multiple ways to get out of trouble, and the party had a lot of resources. You can deal with persistent threats and obstacles in big city adventuring in a multitude of ways where you can't when you're low level. And you also have magical stuff. If you have illusionists and other magics, you can kind of trick and kind of use magical persuasion and stuff like that. So mid-level adventuring gives you all these kind of cool options you can introduce that you can't do in low level. And in high level, it's kind of then that becomes mundane almost when you're really high level. Then you need bigger fish to fry, so to speak, in order to entice them. But mid-level is where often when you can go to dangerous places like the sewers under it, and you can involve the high and mighty in big cities and stuff.
Let's give a couple. Anna, that's a great point. So I'm going to pull these out real quick because I always have these right here. All right.
Yep.
So
Greyhawk. There you have them. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Greyhawk City, folk
Yep.
feuds and factions. There's the beautiful people section, and then there's the low life section. Okay, it actually says part low life. So you have the baddies in the Thieves Guild, which we actually did the Thieves Guild War in the middle levels. Perfect.
Yes.
So Thomas Rotic and his crew fighting against Orgnention. That's in this. You have the Assassin's Guild. You have the Beggars Union people. You have the Cult of the Shriven Sickle. You have the Shape Changers, which I know Carlos uses a lot. You have Old Mother Grubs. You have all this just in the Free City of Greyhawk books, so that you can actually take them and utilize what Anna said and make up your own adventures based on what's in these references. So great point for mid.
Or the Gord the Rogue.
Oh yeah.
Which is another take, and you can go from low level to mid level very easily. And just that Beggar's War, you can be introduced to it as a low level beggar, or you could be fighting that war as a mid level mercenary, or as a mid level thief, or it's just that the city adventuring is incredible. And the first. There's two good Gord novels, Saga of Old City and City of Hawks, that give you good grounding on mid-level adventuring. And then, unfortunately, Gord suddenly shoots up to epic level. But there's a lot of good mid-level adventuring there at the beginning. It's Saga Old City and City of Hawks. And great ideas that you can get from those novels, and mostly city adventures. I want to bring up something that I've just recently, in the last 2 months, really come across. Was Gary Holian did a write-up in Dungeon Magazine 148 of Spine Castle, and it is just absolutely incredible. I think it is going to be the one of the big iconic areas in Greyhawk. It is a city that has been overrun by humanoid tribes, orcs and goblins and ogres and gnolls.
Pop them out on live. Go ahead.
And it is just it's I've just found it so inspirational, and the setting, it is unlike the big evil cities like Daraka or Malog, which are very high level evil. Spine Castle is a wonderfully mid-level adventuring area, because you're dealing with these large numbers of monsters, but they're all monsters that you can deal with on a mid.
There we go.
Yep.
Oh.
Well,
Those are good points. Yep.
we are getting yeah. Jason's really on a roll tonight, which is great. Let me know,
This
Jason,
is a
when you're back.
topic that is dear to his heart too. So
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot
you can
tonight. Yep.
Oh, you can
Sorry, welcome
infiltrate
back.
the city as an evil adventurer, and be in there to do a secret mission. And all surrounding you are these horrendous creatures that run the city, that if they catch you, they might even just eat your characters alive in the middle of the street. It's just this terrible place, but it's a wonderful place for adventuring. And I've really fallen in love with Spine Castle. I'm probably doing too much stuff on it right now, but I just.
Yeah, every time I go on that Cannon Fire chat, Jason, every time I go on there, you were.
Yeah, I try to do a little Spine Castle stuff every day.
Well, so what you need to do is do the Spine Castle stuff and say, you know what, you know what, there, Gary, I can't do any more until you come on one of the shows. So that is awesome. We really, I know there's going to be more Spine Castle stuff coming. Particular that we've asked him, Gary, to do Spine Castle product for when we have the virtual Greyhawk Con. So I know there's going to be a lot more coming, which is great. So, Tim, you got something you're holding right there. What do you got?
I don't know if you talked about it.
No, we haven't, but it's too low, man.
What
I haven't talked about that one yet. We haven't done the UKs yet.
Yeah.
Forest Oracle's too low. It's like 2 to 4.
Forest Oracle's 2 to 4.
Yeah,
but
too
4
low.
is
Too low. Mid-level.
But you could easily amp it to make it any level. But
I
as written, you're correct.
Yes, but that's okay. But I will tell you this, that I've been saving the UKs. Okay. There are a bunch of them. A lot of them fall real low or real high. So let me flip back to the UKs. This is the only one I have.
Talking about the Sentinels, one of them, right? Or is that
the Gauntlet and the Settler? Yeah, I consider them low level. Yeah, and we just talked about them on the Legends and Lore actually. Right. So we decided. I decided we don't need to bring them back up. But I did not realize, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, that they're all in the Shieldlands. I mean, not Shieldlands. They're all in the Sea Princes, all of them. So Mike theorized that they gave that area over to this group, the Graham Morris group. Yeah, Jason, is that true, or did you know?
No, I'm not sure about that. But if you look at the Salt Marsh stuff, U3 is actually a UK module.
Yes, that's a true point. That's a true point too. So this is the first, and why don't we talk about the one you have, Tim, as it scrolls through the UK?
UK 4, When a Star Falls.
Yep.
Levels 3 to 5.
Yeah, it's right on the edge, but we'll allow it. So
already somewhere, and they run into a
meteor.
Right? They run into a on the moors. They run into a dead monk, and then they're attacked by a memory web. And then when they kill it, it releases all these memories. Then they find out some facts, and they decide they have to take action, or don't, in which case there's no adventure. So.
Right.
And then they get involved with kind of helping make deals for this oracle. There's an oracle who, they make tons of money. People come ask them questions. They give them some fake BS answer, but they make tons of money. That's their business. Well, the head oracle guy really has this book that tells the future. It's a giant tome. You can only flip one page a day. So for years, it's been one page. He flips it, and then he flips it, and it's blank, and then the rest of the books are blank, and then there's one little hint on where you can find the rest of them. So that's what.
Cool.
So you're basically helping him out big time.
They
That's-
did. Go ahead,
is-
Jason.
Is that on the edge of the Sea of Dust? That one?
No, it's on a moor. There's mountains around it, and there's on the moors, and it's the sages. They're really sages. They're like little fortress area is like on an island in the middle of a river.
It's southwest. It's way southwest Sea Princes, I
And
believe. Yeah.
there's a there's a evil sage. It's basically gotten the good guy, locked up on the top of the castle because he's trying to take over. He says, "Oh, he's died. They tried to kill him, and now he's taking over." So there's lots of things that we can do.
Now this.
Dragons in it too. So.
Yeah. There's.
deep gnomes, Darrow.
Yep. Which is cool.
Yeah.
A lot of the
Druidic
folio
sage.
stuff.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting, and I think the cartography is pretty good. I like it. I like the texture and feel of the maps and such. Oh, here.
Oh well, the UK stuff is just.
It's detail. It goes different directions than the standard classics, and that's why this one. Someone told me that this is the. Yeah. I mean, really detailed maps. Look at that. Really.
I mean, they're not Anna maps, but seriously.
No, but they were very good for the day. They wouldn't put up with most modules today have better ones, but yeah, those are great. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely well detailed.
And it's basically two covers, so it's got basically
so there's an extra cover inside with
6 pages of maps.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they went through that period with the double gatefold covers.
Yeah,
Or
that's a
and
good
the
idea.
extra folds and yeah.
Yeah, because Ravenloft is the same way with the extra covers. Yeah, there's the Moors. So this one, someone just told me this afternoon that the map inside here is the London Garden Botanical thing. Beyond the Crystal Cave. I did not know that in here.
Wow.
I was like, what? So another this
Why
is
reinvent it, right?
Yeah, well, this is Romeo and Juliet, guys. It says, fleeing the rage that consumed their feuding families, Juliana and Orlando fled to the Cave of Echoes, where every wish is granted. So it's a Romeo and Juliet story. But,
every wish, wow.
Yeah, but time passes differently inside than outside.
I guess it's only you only get the wish when you're inside. When you come out again, and then it's all returned to normal, I think.
Is that UK one?
Yes.
That's the Tempest, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the one that's on the island, I believe. It's off Jot's Platte Island, so it's
the Tempest, or Tempest and Romeo and Juliet. Yeah,
it's a combination of both. Absolutely.
What's that called? Which one is that?
It's Beyond the Crystal Cave, UK one.
All right.
If you want to run it for your daughter and crew, you can borrow a copy. I think I got 2 of them. So.
She's in the Dark Tower right now.
That's a lot of discussion. That'll be next week. So yeah. All right, Jason, throw one out there, man. We're rocking and rolling here.
All right. Well, since I'm not sure with time when we're bouncing back and forth. So let me jump to module X8, Drums on Fire Mountain.
Whoa.
It's a solid mid-level. It's a Mystara D&D adventure, but it's set on this semi-Polynesian island. It is just fantastic. It's it involves these wereboars and this volcanic island and these orcs that are, like the pig orcs. Oh, I just absolutely love this adventure. I'm not sure it might even be a UK thing again, but has great artwork.
X8, huh? Oh, Jason went.
Yeah, he disappeared. Yeah.
I think I was just looking at that the other day.
Yeah. Ran that 19. Oh, cool, Greg. I'll take your word for it. It was decent or not, Greg. Post that in there. Let me know. But I do not. I know that in Castle Amber, X1 and X2. I've never even held X3 through X8. So that's awesome. It was UK as well. Okay, all right. So those X's were
Cool.
UKs as well. Cool.
Yeah.
So they're probably placed in that area as well in Greyhawk. Are you good, Jason?
Oh, he's
Oh,
not back
he
yet.
may
Well,
zipped
I
out.
got
yeah,
really frozen up that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Now he's back.
No, I was just saying somebody was saying it was UK, but it was it's a wonderful adventure. I'm using it in conjunction with my Greyhawk Vikings up north there,
Okay.
where they're on a raid down south and end up on that Drums on Fire Mountain module. It is it's just incredible. I really like that one.
Excellent. And so you could. What we're trying to say is simple. Like just with this one here, Jason, let's go over these: The Night Below and Gates of Firestorm
well.
Peak, which just popped
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
It's hopped through
Yeah,
them, and after that, then we're going to talk about the Carlos one. So, what do you think about Night Below? Gets rave reviews as a great adventure, great module.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's it's funny. It's Sargent, and it is to me his best Greyhawk endeavor, and it's been stripped of Greyhawk.
Yeah.
okay.
Now, people put it in the Yeomanry because they want to fit the whole Underdark thing in. Personally, I put it in Verbabank to start with
Oh, cool.
because what I do, I think that if you add Night Below to the the foolishly linked super module T1 to 4, A1 to 4, GDQ 1 to 7, if you link the two of them together, you have the perfect super module, the super duper adventure, because you can take characters from like first level and really have them adventure through like the problems that you run into of melding T1 with T2, the end of the temple, and it works all together. There's slavers, there's Underdark, there's creatures other than Drow. It's a wonderful combination. And for me, Night Below. Now, Night Below Series 1 is low to mid. Night Below Book 2 is mid to high, and Night Below Book 3 is high.
Okay.
So the Night Below adventures are supposed to take you from first level to 10th level.
Wow.
So really, when you get to Book 2, you're dealing definitely, end of Book 1, beginning of Book 2, you're definitely dealing with mid-level adventuring. You're dealing with there's a whole setting developed there that you can plop down in the Yeomanry. I plopped it down in Verbabank.
Okay.
It's not very hard to mesh with either, I felt. And Night Below, really, it is a good, solid mega adventure. It's a box set, single adventure. But again, it's not going to give you the adventure just without doing a little work on your own. You got to do some stuff even with Night Below.
Which is the way it is in most Greyhawk adventures.
Now,
yeah.
For some reason, and now this is Sargent. Now, Bruce Cordell, who's a big name back in the late 90s, 2000, wrote a lot of good adventures.
Firestorm Peak.
And Firestorm Peak, in my mind, I've always kind of links with Night Below to me.
Okay.
Because you can drop it in with Night Below, surprisingly. Now, Firestorm Peak it's not a monster module, but it's not a normal size adventure either. It's pretty big. It's also got a lot of doodads to it, so you can have a battle map and counters that you can cut out, flat counters to if you don't have miniatures. And it is a good, solid adventure with a lot of combat. There's a lot of combat in Firestorm Peak. It's not something you're going to play for a year, but you can play this for quite a few sessions of enjoyable fun, and it's a good, solid adventure, and it's mid-level.
Well, if you all remember, Marco was running this when he stopped streaming. Remember on Monday nights? This is what Marco was playing, Gates of Firestorm Peak. Now, yeah, he was in the middle of doing that when, he stopped streaming.
Yeah.
And I'm basically DMing for the time being. Bruce Cordell, I'm going to put this out there. I've attempted a dozen times to get him on a talk show because of all the stuff he's done, like Bastion of Faith and the Sea Devils and all that stuff
Yeah, that would be
from
awesome
that
to
era.
hear
So
him.
if anyone has a connection,
Bruce has moved over to fiction writing. Is the
well,
problem.
and Patolis, right? Tolis,
No.
PTOL.
Bruce has gone over into
Oh, really?
solid fiction writer. Yeah, I belong to his email kind of blog thing, and I don't know him personally, but I follow him, and he's gotten away from gaming into fiction writing.
Okay, I thought
So
he was working for Monty Cook Games now.
That's what I thought too, but
Oh,
I
maybe
might be
too, but
mistaken. Yeah.
I don't know. His last things were all about writing his novels, so I don't know if he's broken away or it's just there on the side, or he wants to get on. Because as much as you can do in the gaming society, if you step out into the larger world of fiction, it really gets a lot bigger, for the individual writer.
Yeah.
We know Bruce Cordell, but if he can make it as a fiction writer, he'll make it a lot bigger. So
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I would hope that he'd love to discuss those. Some of those are eclectic that we use to this day. Particularly Bastion of Faith. It's one of my favorite supplements that was genetically placed. I mean, I use it right into Shieldlands, right in Crit Wall. So the specialty pieces of Horonius and Hexter in there. I think it's fantastic. So
I've
Stola
heard you say that at least 4 or 5 times.
Absolutely.
I'd say Fates and Firestorm.
I mean, it's not a problem, but
Yeah.
you definitely think that.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
for sure.
Yep.
Cordell's probably the best modern adventure writer. He's right up there with Jacques in my book for most of his work.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm going to keep on trying. So Stolak says he put Night Below and Western Keeland and have a bunch of other stuff in that area, which is perfect. Baldur's Gate. That's what you're supposed to do as a DM, man. You put the stuff where you don't need to run characters all over the world. You can do it a little bit, but you don't need to do that. I mean, no one's going to say, "Oh my God, you put this in the wrong spot." You know what I mean? No one's going to do that. That's not the way it works, right, Anna? I mean, that's part of the charm of Greyhawk.
Well, yeah, you can mix and match, and there's so many cool ways of doing it. So and again, the golden rule is if people around the table having fun, then you're doing it right. Everyone around the table having fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great point. Yeah. All right, let's Tim, you may have one or two, but I want to jump to I want to get to Carlos's here because we need
go for it.
So we got all right. This is I think the third one, Carlos. I apologize if it's the second or I think it's the third one of the list. Starting with Indomin Septum, and it's 7 gnomes, and they're it's basically they're monks. It's basically an ode to the Magnificent Seven. And it takes place in one of my favorite places, the county of Ulick. And this is the third one who sits upon the oaken throne. I know he's playtesting on his channel either this one or a new one where he has 7 people playing all the monks. So it's going on right now, and Carlos is on usually every other Monday night. He's running this.
So it's not a game for Skagith, but
that's a great point. That was awesome, Anna.
I couldn't resist that one. I couldn't resist that.
Oh, that was so. I hit
maybe
the
it is
here.
for Skagith if the monks are antagonists. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Geez. But they're placed all in Greyhawk. This is from his publishing company, CSL Entertainment, and the names are slightly changed. Now we'll show some more with a nemesis next week on High Level Gaming. We probably all know who I'm talking about. Anna played in a couple of them. This one's the Forgotten Library of Ranat, and this is another one that's placed in right in the middle in Greyhawk. It's levels 5 to 7. Gosh, I was hoping. I think Carlos is maybe at work, and he's on, but he may be at work. I wanted to ask him where. Oh, he may have had to hop off. Where this one was placed at, but this is another mid-level one.
He's doing adventure right now.
Oh my God, he's streaming. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
Oh,
okay.
damn, yeah, and he's
Well,
busy.
we'll raid into him tonight. There you go.
Yep,
No
that's
problem.
yep.
And this one's from his cold dead hands. This is the one that's
Oh,
way up in the northeast with the
the
Jotsplat.
Jot Splat. Yep,
Yeah, this one
yep,
Where it's cold.
is
yeah,
up there. So
definitely. Yep.
all right, cool. So he normally isn't streaming on. He probably streaming tonight instead of tomorrow night. So we'll raid into Carlos when we're done here. That's a no-brainer. So cool.
Yep.
So here's 3 of them, and they're all available. CSL Entertainment.
Yeah,
Carlos runs these at conventions and then publishes them.
Oh
Carlos
yeah,
and
they're
I-
both imprint and PDF. I think all of them
Absolutely.
are available both ways.
Absolutely. And eventually we will get to Horror in the Holes that we did jointly together. I think we're looking at like early next year to get that one printed. I've had a lot of people ask me on that. We'll get to he will get to that as well, but he's cranking out the content. So Carlos, sorry we didn't talk about this before, but hey, it's awesome stuff, and it's all Greyhawk based. The names are slightly changed, so he's not going to get the WotC police coming after him like I may shortly. So just note that it's all Greyhawk. It's not in another location. So Tim, what do you got? You got something? You got one?
Oh well, I was thinking of just the ideas for a city, because a city is good for really good for mid-level, because they're usually bad enough to push people around, but there's still lots of high levels around there. So I had kind of some adventure ideas that you can put in any city, any large thing like that. That's what I was going to talk about.
Awesome.
Some ideas of what's character do when you're not kicking around a dungeon. They can pull security, so they're hired to do security for someone, and there's all sorts of adventure possibilities, spin-offs of that. Or if they're magic users, research, so they have to go and go to the right library, mate with the right people. Clerics have to go visit the faithful, so they have to go do their thing, and you could make them do their rounds, make them go ahead and be a good pastor and have to go visit all the faithful in the city. Thieves, there's all sorts of things they can do with you develop the gray, a gray war or something like that. They can be hired to solve a mystery of the missing whatever. Or sales, they can be told, hey, you have these items, but we don't want it, but you have to go to the bazaar and try to sell them. And so make them put them outside their comfort zones, or make them a purchaser. Hey, this their benefactor, their patron says, hey, here's some money, I need you to go buy that white stallion that I know is going to be at the horse market. You better get over there. That's what I want. And then you could throw all sorts of wrenches into the problem for them to get what they want for the boss. Or they lose the money and now they're in big problems. And then, of course, there's always that tendency, once they start mid-level, they start being able to push the regular population around. They're going to do something wrong, and now they got legal issues, because your 4th level, 5th level fighter, 6th level fighter doesn't win against 1,000 0 levels who are now charging him with a crime. So there's all sorts of things that you can do mid-level. I just think that's the prime time, because they're not powerful enough to just do whatever they want, but they have enough to push people around a little bit and forces them to kind of rub shoulders in that sort of environment. It could be a nice change up for the gameplay.
Yeah, we're not crypto using minis, but my whole crew is not coming over right now, so we're all doing it remotely, unfortunately. But great points, Tim, and I'm going to tie that into something Anna's going to be part of in a few weeks in June, because the Living Greyhawk group's all mid-level, so they're all 5th and 6th level, and Anna's bringing Imri, her Ranger Mage, into that. But here's what we're doing out of Greyhawk City. Sushar Scorn, Bill is on. Bill's character, Salen, is the one giving them the mission.
Awesome.
Yes,
Yep.
so we'll have a player character from another group, the Iron Brigade, giving their group, the Living Greyhawk group, the mission, and
That's fun to
yes, and
start using other PCs as NPCs in other situations. That's awesome. Yeah.
yes, so that'll be another fun one, absolutely. So just to talk
Well,
an
they're going to have
idea.
all sorts of conspiracy theories off of that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, Tim. Yep.
Ton. All right, so let's real quick, and then we'll do one or two Jason Moores, and we'll start doing shout outs. All right, I have 3 here from Necromancer Games. This company I loved when it first came out, like late 90s, early 2000s. It says right on all their product, third edition rules, first edition feel. I love this. Greg, I know, just is running this right now. Asher said he loved this. This is just, and I know, Jason, you were talking about Rapanathek, which is mega dungeon.
And it Tomb of Abyssor links with Rapanathek.
Yeah, and this is great. We have, and I know, I remember the Star of Terror is a magic item in here. Bill Seshar Scorn's character, especially Priestess of Palor has it. So yeah, we have items in this. It's a long adventure. It took a long time to run. It's good, and yeah, Rapanathek almost attaches almost anything that they do in theirs. So one of the, have you seen the Jerrig stuff? I don't know about that. I'm not sure what that question is still. All right. There's all this Mike Merles BS going. I don't care. I'm staying out of it. This is a great adventure written by Mike Merles. The Siege of Durgam's Valley. You know how you know it's good?
You've got it on.
I did it, and it's on Anna's. This is a location now in Anna's map in the Shieldlands. Durgam's Folly is on. I use this to this day from this adventure here. It's a good mid-level adventure, levels 4 to 6. I'm sorry, 4 to 6 characters, 5 to 8, right in that range. Just had some clockwork creatures in it. Was kind of, but it was great. So another good one. And it's like I said, in my Shieldlands campaign. The third one I wanted to talk about, this one was disturbing. I ran this, another of the County of Ulick is a Mess adventures.
Oh, yes.
Aberrations. If
Yes.
you want to be really disturbed, run this adventure, please. Just only foreshadowing I'll say is make sure that your stomach is empty before you run this. That's all I'll say. This has really had some Bill, I know, Bill, you were extremely disturbed by this one, but it's really good. I actually
from
ran
the tongue stealer. It says a lot. So, yeah.
This was actually the group that we are running right now. The Ulick Defenders. They ran through this. So that's the group that I did on Thursday night. Ran this one, Aberrations. So that is for levels.
Do they have PTSD? Do they have role-playing PTSD from it?
I don't want to give any of it away.
You know, Necromancer, Frog God Games, they are easy conversions to Greyhawk. It's standard fantasy role-playing stuff. They have a city called Bard's Gate. There's 2 versions of it. Because they did a Kickstarter and they just increased it like 3-fold. It started out as a little hardback, now it's gigantic because Frog God Games like coming out with these like 700-page hardcovers. It is a great city to add if you're looking for a city. It's a great city to add to Greyhawk. And if you want to add it as whatever, it's not the city of Greyhawk, but it is good if you want to add a different city and have the basics right there.
Yeah, and I have that in hardback downstairs.
And if you're running Tomb of Abyssor and Rapanathek, the Bard's Gate is linked to all of that. So if you're doing a Greyhawk campaign, but you're doing it kind of a Necromancer feel, those all work well together.
Where would you put it?
Well, I put Rapanathek and all that up toward the Bandit Kingdoms and the Rift, so,
okay.
That's, I find it, and Rapanathek is this horrendous mega dungeon. It's to some of the levels are like taking Tomb of Horrors and making it 20 levels deep.
Just the name of it, you're like, that's not a good place.
It is not a good place. It is not a good place. But it's some good adventuring in there.
So we didn't even talk about these, and then we're going to do some other Jasons. But here's the Slaver series, middle adventuring, right? A series right there in the high port.
You have to mention them, just like the T series. You have to mention them.
You have to mention them, and
Yep.
they are.
But they go without saying.
Yep. I think Jason just zonked again. So,
Yeah.
when you get, this is right on the edge of mid-level, even A4. It says levels 4 to 7. I think it's higher than that.
Yeah, and
What do
they
you think, Tim?
introduced,
That's
what was
pretty.
it, the A0 or something? They introduced a new one with the Dark Shelf.
Danger Dark Shelf Quarry is lower. It's actually entry level.
Exactly. It was like, yeah, it was
Well,
and that
which
one
one's
is
for-
later than the original
A0.
ones. I
They
think.
made
You were
an
Yeah.
saying the fourth one is levels 4 to 7.
Yeah, I think that's low.
Well, you're by the time you've gone through them, you should be closer to 7 than 4.
Yeah.
Probably 4 if you're multi-classed, right?
I don't know. I don't recall anyone being 4th level going into this last one. So, but that's all right.
The last one you're talking about when you lose all your gear, right?
You're not supposed to be talking about that now.
Spoiler alert.
I cool for a convention, terrible for a that we were talking about railroad, and that's railroad.
If you want to scare the crap out of your players, though, it's effective.
It is, but he's correct. It is ultimate railroad.
It's just like Spider-Man, you know, when he's like, "I'm nothing without that suit," and he's like, "Well, if you're nothing without the suit, you don't deserve it." Same thing. If you're nothing without your magic items, you don't deserve them.
That's Tim talking. You know how many times I've been completely without any items in his world? Multiple. So I know the feeling.
I don't remember that.
I do. Oh, and I hit the gem thing that flashed twice, and I hit it the third time, and it took all. Yeah, come on.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I do.
I mean, I'm not denying it. I'm just saying.
Of course not. So
I have no recollection of that, Senator.
All right, so we've gone through a lot here. Let's Jason, what do you got? One or two other ones? Yeah.
Sure. In fact, we're talking about 3 related modules: X4, X5, and X10.
Okay.
Now they're Mystara modules, but they are good Backlunish modules too.
Okay.
So I put X4. There is on Anna's map this passage between Perrinland and Ull. I put X4 up in the mountains there, and I changed the demonic monks, and they are now servants of Incabulus.
Perfect.
And I like using Incabulus quite a bit. And then X5, you're crossed over into Ull, and then you start dealing with the Paynims. Now, in the Mystara, they have their equivalent, but it's almost so directly equal to the Backlunish West around Ull and the way the Paynims are, that those modules. Now, X4 is a great solid module. It has this Cursed Abbey. It has those those rolling tank-like things used in that one adventure. That's where they came from.
Oh, okay. Juggernauts?
That's where they were first introduced in X4. And then in X5, you're across over into the Backlunish, and you're dealing with this evil master. He makes a good plot villain for Greyhawk. X10 is a board game. You know, the way that Greyhawk Wars was, X10 is the Mystara board game.
Oh, wow.
It's this gigantic thing. It has big board map, little shit counters. It's a war game. And you can ignore that as a little bit of adventure, but Master of the Desert Nomads, Temple of Death, X5, they are great adventures. They fit wonderfully into Greyhawk. I like them up there, especially because of that little passageway between Perrinland and Ull, way up north.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
And they're mid-level.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've missed a bunch, but we've gotten to a lot.
In order to have your characters do every single one, you only can give them 50 experience points per adventure.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
keep them mid-level long enough.
There are so many out there, and there's so many we didn't cover, and there's a lot of great third party. adventures out there. So bare bones frameworks, but that makes some great program. That's good to hear. So yeah, that's where That's Jason's good at placing these adventures, which is cool. So
Yeah, I think that passageway must be either Living Greyhawk Gazetteer or the Living Greyhawk campaign. Anna has it on her map.
I was
It's not
thinking
on the-
passageway between Pearland and Ol, so it's kept somewhere then.
No. It's not the Bissell-Kett passageway. It's way north.
No, but Pearland and Ol have Ket in between them. So
Well, I'm trying to think. There's this thing through the mountains.
oh yeah, you
Maybe-
have the Worm's Tail Pass that goes from
That's it.
Pearland to Ket, or
Oh,
vice
it's
versa.
Kett, not Ol. Oh,
Yeah.
is it
mhm, yeah,
northern Kett?
Yeah.
gotta
mhm.
be. Yeah.
Okay, so northern Kett would link up with the Paynhams, I guess. I thought it was.
No. The Paynhams will be Paynhams. You have all in between. Yeah.
All
But
right.
if you go from
okay.
Pearland to Ol, you have to go through Ket, or you can
Okay, so-
go around through Tusmet and Zeif and stuff too. But that will be a kind of a
So that passageway, it's northern Kett.
yep. The
By Ol?
Worm's
'Cause I
Tails
kept
Pass
thinking it
is
was Ol.
between Ket and Pearland.
And then the other passageway would be down by the Velverdiva, which would be Bissell and Kett, wouldn't it?
Well, the other pass from Pearland is between
Not
Pearland and Furiundi.
No, but I was thinking between Bissell and Kett, there's that passageway, isn't there?
The Thornward Gap, you mean?
Yeah, and isn't that where the Velverdiva comes up into Bissell?
No, that's the Falls River.
Falls
Velverdiva goes from Lake Quag through the down to into
I've got it messed up.
between
See,
the Luna and
so-
Furiundi.
So for everybody listening to this, what you're hearing is a PhD in Greyhawk history discussing something with somebody with a PhD in Greyhawk geography.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. That's the. I
So,
was just going to
that-
say.
that's what we're
for
hearing.
once
Anna
it's-
knows history
Yeah.
probably better than I do.
Yeah. So now I'm into one thing that I have a PhD in. Yes. But Tim, that was a perfect
Good
way of
shot by
summing
my
it up.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the
So
rest of us who are still in high school or undergraduates are just kind of going,
all right.
But anyway, there's this really. I just want to let me point this out. There's
Sure.
this real cool link up in parallel to the Backlunish West, and that's that Wormtail Fisher, right?
Well, you have between the Baklunish Ket and Pearland, you have an awesome the Worm's Tail Pass that goes
Yeah.
between the city of Crestable in Pearland, southwestern Pearland, up in the mountains, and then it comes down to the city of Molvar in northern Ket. And it's one of these kind of epic. It's one of the places I want to map because it's one of these epic geographical journeys. Go through it. It will be like
Cool.
going through a mountain pass in the Alps or the Rockies or the Himalayas or
I was
something like
thinking of
that.
Afghanistan myself, but
Yeah, but
one of
yeah,
those-
it's something like that. But even higher mountains than that, even bigger. Yeah,
And
it's,
so
it's
I was
through
thinking
the
that'd be-
Yatils, so it's through the Himalayas, or it's like going to Bhutan to China or something like that.
yeah, I love that. That's why I put that
Yeah.
X4 monastery right there as
Yeah.
one of these things along. You know, like imagine one of those Himalayan monasteries that's up there on the
Yep.
hanging on the side of a cliff.
Yeah, like in
Yeah.
the Golden Child.
Yeah, and you have some cool
Yes,
location. Yeah, you have some other
or Batman.
yeah, you have some cool locations in
Or
there too. You
Batman.
have the Don Kragen Keep that is halfway through. That is the southernmost outpost of the Pearlanders, and then west of that you have the Blackhammer Vale, where the Blackhammer Dwarven clan hangs out in their secret city up in the Blackhammer Vale.
Awesome.
And then you continue south and then you get to the Red Tower that is kind of the northern outpost of Ket, and then you can follow the little Red Flood River, and then there is the hidden monastery of Al Akbar up in the eastern, and they are just near the Griffin Strike peaks that are one of the tallest in the Yahtils, and it's kind of awesome. And if you manage to get over the Griffin Strike peaks and continue another 100 miles up in some of the worst mountains ever, you get to the Temple of Tharistu.
So let me ask you this: are we
Yeah.
talking that the world of Greyhawk has the same sort of atmospheric pressure and oxygen content? So
No,
we're
not in
dealing
my
with,
version. It's you can go really, really high,
so
and
it's a
then
richer oxygen content
Yeah.
higher up. It's not
Yep.
subject to the
Yeah.
normal.
So
physics
dragons
of-
can fly really high. Yeah.
Oh, very good. I
Yep.
I thought
But
it was
that
a
is up
relevant
to every
question.
DM to do it. So yep.
It's the first time I've
He
ever heard
knows
that
it.
question in 40 years.
It's a
Yep.
good question, I thought.
That is,
Oh
but
yeah,
I've never.
I've asked
wow.
I have an article on Earth physics and geology and
Now,
stuff, how it works.
Let's
Yep.
take it underwater.
hmm The
Well,
pressure
same
doesn't
limitations?
increase that much with
yeah,
Okay, so
because
you
how
can
do you
go
have
deep.
underwater adventuring then? You know.
All
yeah.
right.
So I wanted to make it, and there is also hollow places, because what in my take on it is that the planets is actually a gateway to the elemental plane of Earth. And then parts of it is the gateway, like oceans and stuff, into the elemental plane of water, and the atmosphere is
Which
into
is
the plane of
what
air.
lets magic create matter, right?
Yes.
There's right.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Very
you can
good.
so you can have these things, and they kind of even things out. So if you go deep down into the ocean, you're not really sure where you are, and up in the air and stuff like that. So
Some
there's
science nerdery and the
Yep.
gaming nerdery.
Yeah, exactly. It's D&D physics. It's a very important topic.
Yes.
It
Yes.
can never be understated that is a very important topic.
So when Mike and Anna, when you decide to do that in Legends of Lore, I'm going to take that one off because my brain will explode.
Okay,
My head
yeah,
will
I
freaking
love my
explode
D&D
from that one.
physics. Yeah,
That
D&D
sounds good.
physics and D&D astronomy and D&D geography and stuff. Oh, I love it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Oh.
you know what? I think we also biology, because I know one
Mm-hmm.
thing: we never do it, and
Oh,
well,
I
we
do
used
it.
to never
I
do
put-
it. But diseases, you hardly ever hear anything like that.
Yeah.
There's a thing on Cannon Fire right now about diseases.
Well, I'm just
Yeah,
saying
well,
that
yeah.
generally I don't play it, but that may change soon.
That's
Yep.
okay.
And Mike, we completely read. We need to get Dennis for D&D geology. Yep. Dennis
Oh my
Tetro, Melvin.
gosh.
Yep.
Oh yeah, 5e's really soft on diseases. Thunder says. Well,
Yeah, you need Pathfinder for that. Then you can beef up your afflictions of it.
I'll just
or
take some.
3.5.
I'll take some ideas from Aftermath and throw that in there.
No.
Yeah. 3.5 and Pathfinder were the tough ones on diseases, afflictions, and stuff
don't
like
know
that
those
of
rules,
various
though.
kinds.
Yeah. What we need to do is sorry guys, but like for saying this, but we all need to really just have it when we're all able to get back together. We all need to drink heavily one day, and then just go stream and go. We're gonna play Aftermath on a stream, and just boom,
okay.
and then just everyone will be dead in 10 minutes. Oh my gosh!
If you survive all this, and then
you cannot play Aftermath like you play D&D. Because when we had guys do that, they got killed. Like,
yeah,
you can't. There is no charging. Done.
Aftermath is fun.
In a leather jacket, it's like
pot
it's
on
more
your
like,
head.
It's more
Oh my
like
God.
combats. It's more like a simulation than it is.
Yeah, what a game.
I mean, yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
it's gritty.
You know what I'll do when we have our highlight? I'll bring the box set up here and we'll talk about it next week. I'll just show it to everyone. Tim's gonna show his box set.
Oh,
all right. So hopefully you guys like this discussion tonight, and we'll keep this going here a little bit. But yeah. Oh, that's a nice condition too.
Yeah,
that's a nice condition.
A good looking
This is my
It's by
second
FASA,
box,
guys.
This is my second box.
Yeah,
I have two.
Yeah, didn't I give you one as a special gift? Yeah.
I don't know. This one was from the Day of Nights.
Yes, I bought it for you. Remember?
I think you bought it for my dad because I got it for my dad.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was for me. I don't
It
know.
was. I bought it.
I think I got it from his.
Jason,
house,
I got
though.
that the Days and Nights real cheap, man.
That's a surprise.
This is back in the day when the transition was coming. That's about 15 years ago. I got that. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Out there. The Days and Nights are the win in Newcastle. I'm sorry, Newark, Delaware, right on University of Delaware campus, Main Street. Been there since '85.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some what's going on and shout outs here. Let's start with Jason. What's going on, man?
Well, I need to get back to Blackmore, Land of the Thousand Witches. It's my set that I'm working on because I've been doing too much with Spine Castle. I've had a lot of fun with. Gary Hollian wrote an article in Dungeon 148, and I just indexed it. And I tell you, I've really fallen in love with this horrifying city, Spine Castle. Spine Castle's in the Bone March. 563 CY was overwhelmed by monsters. My campaign's 579. The city is just, as described by Gary Hollian, is just completely taken over by gnolls and orcs and bugbears and goblins, and it's a horrifying city, and I absolutely love it. And I've been writing up character after character for it, and I wrote up a random encounter post, and I'm going to do more with it. And it's just been absolute fun. It's Spine Castle, and Greyhawkers should know it, but I'm telling you, Spine Castle to me, there's no other place like it. It's going to be, I think, down the road, 5-10 years, we're going to be talking about Spine Castle the way that we talk about Tomb of Horrors, Temple of Elemental Evil. I think it's going to be one of the iconic places to adventure on Earth. It's wonderful.
Awesome.
So I've been doing a lot with that right now.
Fantastic. I know you linked up with Blue Box to get them set up on Earth Abides as well too. Thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Anna, what's up?
Well, it's I have we almost ready for production of the Atlas, so there will be a blog post coming very soon with some cool screenshots and kind of test pages, and so they've been refined a little bit, and so we're ready to kind of kickstart the production, not kickstart it, but get it rolling and start producing pages next week. And the upcoming, like this week coming now, so that is the major thing. So hopefully within not too distant future there could be maps rolling out ready for people to start using, that will be referenced, and we want to have some other cool features built into it too. So I say we because I have assembled a small team of helpers that will be awesome people that are kind enough to donate some time to me and help me with some of the assemble a lot of the information and helping me getting all the stuff in there so I can do the actual graphic design and put it in, because it's a print product which primarily for printing, which means that everything needs to look good, need to be high resolution and stuff. So it's a lot of work that way. Each map and stuff requires a lot of graphical works that work that way. There will also be a digital version because it's supposed to be a printed on 11 by 17 and one map covering a spread, so to speak. And there will be one version where I simply cut off the margins and the bleeds and stuff in the middle and just merge them two together. And that way it will be a referenced set of probably about 50 or 60 of these spreads, so 60 maps, something like that, plus a few extras and some appendix and stuff. So it's going to be a beefy product once it's done. So that is getting kind of up and running, and that will continue for several months. We hope that we can have it, we should have it all done this fall, so then all of it should be done, because once it's up and running it doesn't take that long because it's all templates, so I just have to switch out things and change text and stuff on it, and then save it again and export it out as PDF, etc. So that is the main thing I'm working on, and then it's always a little bit refinements here and there. Some cool heraldry tidbits will pop out, and there will be some updates on the Worth project. And I'm also writing a blog post presenting more in detail, more for the cartography enthusiast and people that want to make their own map, a little bit of state of the industry when it comes to software and stuff, because there's a whole bunch of new things and cool things happening in that part that I want to kind of give cool teasers and say what's coming up. So, but that's more of later projects, that because I had to delay a whole bunch of stuff because, first of all, thanks to all the pandemics and stuff, a lot of the software developments and tools that I was hoping to have now is not coming yet. But on the other hand, there's now more tools being developed than I thought. So it will probably be even better, cooler things to work with, or better tools down the line, but they're not here yet. So that's why the Atlas was a perfect stop project that was, I think, will be very, very useful for the community. That was a perfect time to put that in here. So that's those are the big things that I'm working with. So right at the moment, yeah.
And Anna and I got a lot of work to do those shortly. We got to
Oh
get
yes, yeah, we have some
updating.
other stuff too that relates to you. So please
Yeah,
continue with that. Yeah.
absolutely. So, Tim, what do we got going, man? Oh, we do have
Well,
something going next
well,
Saturday.
next Saturday, another installment, and this is the last time we only got time to do the beautiful people doing their beautiful stuff and seeing the Overlord, and so next Saturday, the down and dirty people will be doing a visit to the guildmaster of the Slave Masters Guild and crashing his party and trying to get something delivered to one of the slaves who's been captured from another country.
Yep.
So, and you're going to see, last time the beautiful people just whisked right through the cities because they're beautiful and everyone stays out of the way of all the haves. With everyone else here, it's going to be a different journey in the city state.
Yeah, I can imagine. Kixano's not looking forward to it, but he's along for the ride. So
Yeah, he's got to give some guidance.
this will be a fun one, and this kicks off 3 Saturday night specials in 4 weeks for us. All right, so we got something going on this week, the week after, then we're off. Then on the 20th, so we got 3 Saturday specials in 4 Saturdays. So, and then Tim will always be around doing his other things. Fun games with Tim, definitely. All right, so thank you all. Here's what's going on. Wednesday night, Deities of Greyhawk and Legends and Lore. I'm almost already prepared for this one. I've really got through most of this already. So, yeah, we're going to go through all the deities that you have in Greyhawk.
Well, maybe not all of them.
Not all
a lot
of them, but we can discuss whatever people want to discuss.
How much time do you have?
Yes.
Yeah. Or we might have a long episode. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go with yeah, that's okay, man. Thunder, you can't make them all. It's no big deal. We appreciate it though.
That's a perfect excuse. You're
Yeah,
doing it
playing your
yourself.
own game. That's definitely a perfect excuse. So I got all of Leonard's in there as well. So we have a lot of deities to go over. We'll go over some key ones. We'll highlight them. We can always go back and do a deities part 2 down the road. So that is Wednesday. All right, here comes all the fun stuff, man. We got more Thursday night. We continue with the Portal Master. You know, if you were watching, there's giants all over the place and awful trolls, and a hill giant just stepped through this portal and didn't know where it was and what the heck's going on. You know, you got to figure this out in the Lord Mill Mountains. This is, you know, one of our higher levels, and I'm talking about higher. We're talking about 9th, 10th, and 11th level, and so that will continue on Thursday. I don't think we'll finish, but we may. But we'll see. That continues on Thursday. Next week, I already told you, we have Tim's on Saturday and Sunday. We have a high level adventuring in Greyhawk. We're going to continue this. So let's go talk about the real classics. We got Against the Giants. We got the D series. We have Shokanth. We have Tharisden.
Or the real.
Or Dark
Ravager
Tower.
of Time.
What?
Ravager of Time.
Ravager of Time. Oh my God. Oh my
terrible.
gosh. Awful. And Dark Tower and Fortress Elendar.
Some of my most crazy ideas I got from Dark Tower, and I've just refabricated.
Oh, I love Dark Tower. It's so Jason. That's as Judges Guild as it gets, man.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
yeah, it is so awesome.
that's about the best of the best there.
I'll throw I know it's not Greyhawk, but Tegel Manor is.
Yeah,
There's a
Tegel
lot of
Manor too. We
disturbing
could
stuff in that
absolutely go place that in Greyhawk. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
So we'll talk about a lot of those, plus some other third party ones that we haven't even discussed that are cool. All right. So beyond this, the Gabbin after that's already set, guys.
Oh.
We're gonna remember, Greg. We rescheduled
yeah,
this. Miniatures and terrain and tabletop play. We're going to do this 2 weeks from tonight. Mike Disney is going to come on, great artists, and Brian Sublime and Bill and Master Crafter, and we're going to talk about. They're going to show some tricks of the trade to make terrain affordably and to get you going on setting up your own style of playing terrain and miniatures. So plus Mike's going to show off some of his great artwork and talk about what he does. It'll be a fun show, and that'll be 2 weeks from tonight. So then we're only 4 shows away from 100. Then so we're getting there. All right, so special shows. Let me hit up some stuff, and I missed your shout out there, and then let me see here. I missed Tim's as well, and okay. Go to.
We talked about it.
Yeah, I know. I just always like pressing it. Okay, the first of the week after. This is a big deal because I'm not sure if John's still on, but with Blue Box RPG, I don't think he is. We are going to. I am running them through. It's not Hamlet. I'm starting them in Hamlet, okay, and eventually we'll go out of Hamlet. So I'm introducing all his new cast to Greyhawk, my style. I have one of the NPCs, Asherin of House Thronedale, already made up.
Oh.
So we're good to go with this. It's going to be first level out of there. And then I'm going to run this on June 6th, June 9th. Oh, dude, Lake Lord, that's what we are, man. This is the old school Greyhawk D&D channel, man. So, yes, as old school as it gets. You come to the right place. We're going to raid another old school guy shortly, Carlos CSL Entertainment. So stick around. Stick around here. So I'm running this June 6th. June 9th, they start their Greyhawk campaign. Okay. And that's the night that he's giving away, guys, a glossography box set. It's like in perfect condition from like 1980, whatever, 2 or 3. I mean, that's insane. He's giving that away to kick off his show. So with Greyhawk, I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be in my version of Greyhawk, which is cool. So that, and then 2 weeks after that, so we'll be off a week, and then the final. Anna's playing in this time because one of the 6 living Greyhawk people couldn't. I didn't update this because everyone loves this joke. So this is not the right name of the adventure. Order of York Evil Conspiracies Exposed. But yes, that is not.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Now
yes.
You're
going to now cite that as proof.
Yes. Yeah. Adam. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we
awesome.
are. Yeah. We talked about what's going to happen. We're going away from the mongrels for a session. Mongrels is a putrid tongue. Sailing Shadow Moon. The gentleman who put the crown of Ruggiero Bloodmoon on and tried taking the whole world over, but now he's back to his normal cleric necromancer self. The deputy guild master of the Gravediggers and Embalmers himself is going to send this group on a mission. So, and he's a PC in another group. That's how we tie it in our campaign. So, yes, that'll be a blast. I'm trying to make sure Bill's on to actually do that part of the role play. So that'll be cool. And yes. Absolutely. He's the greatest.
Living Greyhawk.
What's that?
I'm an honorary Living Greyhawk participant for the evening.
So you can participate in all the conspiracy theories going around from these Living Greyhawk people.
Yep.
So, and then, guys, big announcement, Virtual Greyhawk Con is going to be on. We've already set up with Tabletop Events. We have a big meeting next Saturday. We have our first sponsor. Trollord Games is going to sponsor it. And then it's a reality. So that weekend, we'll get you more details on when events start signing up, and all different sorts of things we're going to do. We're going to have its own Discord. We're going to do this the right way. So it's a lot of work, but I'm going to have a blast setting this up. I have people working the technical aspect for me, and some people that are going to really work to make this a reality, and hopefully we get some attention in a positive way out of this for what the community here is. So I'm looking forward to just keep on moving forward. Thank you all for another great show. I know it's a holiday weekend, and those of you that stuck in there, hey, thank you for it, for participating. Anna, thank you.
Oh,
Jason, thank you. We'll do high level next week. Can't wait for that too, Tim. Yep. Thank you very much. Stick around, guys. We're going to raid into Carlos, okay? I'm going to do an end thing here, and we'll raid right into Carlos as we're doing this. Thanks. Thank you. Next week will be, I think next week's going to be even more exciting because you get some nuances of some high-level stuff. They're like, oh my God, I forgot about that. You know? So.
Yeah, some of the biggest classic modules, I guess, are high level
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Where I started out.
Thank you, Cuthbert. Yeah, I'm looking for the virtual Greyhawk too. We're hoping to have it. I'm hoping that we have between 50 and we'll start small, between 50 and 100 events for it. So that's my goal. I'm setting the rate.
Yeah, Jay, you realize that when this pandemic is over, you set a standard. So now that you have to go from virtual to real.
Oh my gosh. Then my wife starts kicking
You started a success. If it becomes really successful or popular,
You can
might
just
set
hand it off to
example.
somebody.
Exactly. Then you have to
And
realize that
there
you
you
have
go.
to go from virtual to real. So.
DM, I'll get your winnings out hopefully tomorrow or Tuesday. So, thank you guys. Thank you all. Really appreciate the participation on the holiday weekend. I know a lot of people had family over and friends. It's all good. So,
I'm going to warn those guys in the Living Greyhawk crew that just because they're insanely paranoid doesn't mean that Jay is not out to kill them.
that's true. That's true. Here we go. We're heading over to Carlos right now, guys. We'll see you shortly. Have a great night. 41, beautiful. Heading over. Make sure that worked.
Oh yeah, it worked. Yeah.
Man, I haven't even eaten dinner yet.
No.
No, I have to go and grab something too soon. I'm starting to nibble on my nuts here. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's 10 o'clock here.
That's true. So you should have had dinner a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for hopping on, Tim. That was awesome. Thanks,
Oh,
Jason.
that was
Man,
fun.
Jason,
That
you
was
really got into some great detail, man. That was
Wow.
awesome.